welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
And I'm Michael Tanner.
And today we're talking about 1985's Night Train to Terror.
Some call it the Heavenly Express, others, Satan's Cannonball.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the tea. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
I said it, knocker. I don't know.
Spooky ain't got no real rhythm.
Hello, Mr. Man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love funny games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
Oh, the hell with women's live. I'm horny.
And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
It's for jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed. And more.
So, guys, we're here talking about Night Train to Terror. Now, this is a Patreon request episode from one of our great Patreon members, one of our Grindbin All-Stars, Robbie Robertson. And, guys, Robbie, oh, man, about 3 months ago, I see in my Patreon inboxes that he joined the Grindbin All-Star tier, and he got to pick another movie. Do you know what the first movie Robbie suggested to us was? This is going to be really funny because we were all on it together.
Really?
Oh, which one?
Which one was it?
16.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
And you know what's really funny about that? The other movie he wanted to request was which was recorded the same day as 16.
Yeah.
But he did not
man.
request that movie. However, Robbie Robertson requested Night Train to Terror, and Robbie, thank you. Thank you
You
so
have
much.
more than made up for 16.
16, horrible movie, but everybody seemed to enjoy that episode. But Night Train to Terror, man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm assuming this is a love fest all around.
Oh, it absolutely is.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
It's pretty good. In honor of this episode, I have consumed an entire bottle of Night Train.
Well, this movie, it might help watching it. This is Mind Trap level of incoherence in this movie.
In fact, Mike, if you recall, I messaged you almost that exact thought.
Yeah, and it is 100% accurate. This is as close to Mind Trap as we're ever going to get. So if you are at all interested in this movie, please watch it before you listen to this podcast, because I'm immediately going to ruin the biggest trivia point of this movie in the first minute of this show when we actually get into it. So
let's just say right now, 1, you can watch it on YouTube for free. 2, if you want to watch a nicer version, Vinegar Syndrome put it out on Blu-ray.
Oh, man. This has a Blu-ray?
This has a Bluray and a vinyl release.
Holy shit. Well, that soundtrack, which opened the show.
I should clarify, it's a 45.
Okay, yeah, there's
It's one song,
right?
but oh boy, what a song.
Well, did they do it like in the movie and they just play it like 5 times?
They should. I don't have that one.
But
Yet.
so now, if you haven't watched the movie, it's full spoilers ahead, and this is a real spookies type of situation. So if you're gonna watch it now. But the main trivia for this movie, guys, do you know why this movie is incoherent? Did anybody else besides me read the trivia?
I did a deep dive on everything I could find out about this movie after
So let's
watching it.
talk about it, fellas.
So you know that this is maybe the best idea and worst idea of all time.
What, this podcast?
Yeah. So you have 3 movies which were all horrible and nobody had seen, and they maybe have not ever really formally finished. And what do? Well, you take those 3 movies and you turn it into like a Twilight Zone movie.
I mean, it's a pretty great idea to salvage what little bit of footage you have from each of these movies.
Now, as I can tell, every one of these movies has actually been released.
Wow, so if we really want to do a deep dive, we have to now watch each of these films.
Yeah, and there's differences.
Oh, I imagine.
And they just kind of like, I guess, redid all these movies to fit into some new, shorter narrative?
Well, they didn't really do a lot of work to get them to fit into the shorter narrative. These movies are edited with a hacksaw.
Almost none. I mean, we're watching 3 episodes of Freddy's Nightmares here.
But if Freddy's Nightmares, like you said, Bobby, you drank a whole bottle of Night Train before writing an episode of Freddy's Nightmares. The level of incoherence is at a maximum for these. Like, there are plot twists and plot points where you're just like, wait, what?
The entire thing runs on dream logic. So Freddy's Nightmares kind of makes sense there, because these are all just like the weirdest dreams. and then they just filmed them.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Freddy had walked by on screen in a conductor's hat, would any of you even thought twice about it?
No. But the three movies that are in this movie, I will get to. Their titles are Scream Your Head Off, which was apparently an unfinished film, but was later retitled and edited into Marilyn Alive and Behind Bars.
Better title.
But that was released after this movie in 1992. Because this is 1985. And the other one is The Dark Side of Love, which came out 1 year before this movie, and Cataclysm, which came out in 1980. Cataclysm is the Nazi one. So this film was given an X rating when it came out by the MPAA, which to me...
I don't think it was for anything in particular in this. I think they were just trying to keep people from watching it.
Yeah, I think so. But we get into the crew, guys. So this is where we're going to do a little deep dive, because there's 4 credited directors for this movie. I think it's 4. It might even be 5. I'm looking at it right now. It is 5. So we will start with John Carr, who directed the segments of The Case of Harry Billings and The Case of Greta Connors. He has 10 credits, including a movie in 1975 called Fugitive Lovers, which I've written down the extra long description of, guys. So go ahead and sit down. Maybe I won't read the whole thing, but just take this in, okay?
Hold on, let me pop open another bottle of Night Train.
Making his morning rounds in a Bel Air neighborhood, swimming pool cleaner Blue Schuler is startled by the sight of a lovely young woman floating lifeless under the water. He jumps in, boots and all, hauling her out of the pool and reviving her. She is Tara, unhappily married to Harris Alexander, a powerful state capitol lobbyist. She has tried to end it all by gulping down pills and attempting to drown herself. Blue feeds her hot soup and encouraging words. To cheer her up, he takes her for a ride in his truck. Later, they go to a country nightclub where he performs a guest shot singing gig. She never returns home, happy to be with him. Aware of her flight, Harris sends his henchmen to convince her to return. Leaving his truck to be repaired, Blue and Tara take off on his motorcycle. Learning their whereabouts, Harris has drugs planted in Tara's purse. Narcotics officers raid the couple's resort hotel room. Tara is arrested. Blue escapes, seeking aid from Tara's friend, former movie queen Liz Trent. Harris has Tara released from jail on her promise to be a wife again in exchange for Blue's life. In a bare-handed brawl in a rain-swept airport, Blue rescues her from her escorts, and the two escape. Now, the reason I read the entire description of that movie, which tells you from start to finish what happens, is because it's written by John Carr, the director.
I'm glad to know it was hot soup that he gave her.
Yeah.
And that was a rain-swept airport. Little details like that.
So the 10 credits that John Carr has on IMDb, he has written the descriptions for all of them himself. Including The Dark Side of Love, 1984, which is one of the 3 movies that's in this movie. Yeah, he directed actually 2 movies that were in this. The Dark Side of Love, 1984, and Marilyn Alive and Behind Bars in 1992, which is one of the other 3 movies. So he's responsible for 2 of them. Philip Marshak, who directed the segment The Case of Claire Hansen, 11 credits, including Lust Flight 2000 in 1978. And then Bobby, the same year, he directed one of your favorite Universal monsters, Dracula Sucks.
Yes, who can forget the performance by Kay Parker and John Holmes.
Count Dracula, Jamie Gillis, a vampire who's recently purchased a castle adjacent to a mental institution, as well as his vampire brides, use the patients and daughters of Dr. Seward to satisfy a lust for blood and sex.
And sex.
Guys, it has 5 writers credited on that movie.
5. Like, to be fair, though, have you seen this movie? It's a bit dialogue heavy. They won't shut up.
In 1980, though, he directed a movie called Olympic Fever, which is a struggling Olympic swimmer uses special dietary supplements to improve her performance, which draws the attention of the Russians.
Ooh, intriguing.
He also directed Cataclysm in 1980, which is the Nazi part of this movie. 1982, Intimate Lessons. Sexually frustrated swingers spend a weekend of sexual explorations in Sir Aubrey's mansion. When one of them tries leaving early after even rejecting host... Jesus Christ. When one of them tries leaving early after even rejecting hostess Lady Amanda herself, that's one word, one sentence, she spikes his drink and rapes him till emission.
Whoa.
Yikes.
I understand this got remade into Whiplash.
Is that the drumming movie?
Yeah. It was they went with the original title, Intimate Lessons, and then thought it needed a catchier title.
Oh, okay. He raped a lady in that movie?
Look, I didn't watch it. I was hoping maybe you guys did.
Oh, is it the teacher? The teacher drugged him and raped
J.K.
him?
Simmons?
I think that happened.
J. Jonah Jameson himself? How
Is that
dare
what happens
he?
in that movie?
Pretty sure.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. I haven't seen it either, so I will believe you, sir. 1984, though, have you seen Space Virgins? I bet you can guess what it's about. Space aliens land on planet Earth looking to repopulate their race and meet up with a group of horny cowboys and slutty cowgirls. That's what the description on IMDb is.
Oh, that's not nearly as interesting as the one I came up with in my head.
Oh, please, Tanner.
Well,
Let's
that
hear
the
it.
aliens are virgins and they come to Earth to lose their virginity, but their bodies are different, and it's about them learning to explore and kind of become intimate with themselves through the lens of humanity. It's really like it should be a French movie. It should be subtitled.
Yeah, like the Emmanuel version of Space Alien.
Yes.
Space Virgins. Yeah.
Someone gets their face hugged.
I just read Space Virgins, but you're right. There's no virgin in the description. It just says horny cowboys and slutty
Well,
cowgirls.
you can be horny and still be a virgin.
Okay.
I could argue that sometimes virgins are the most horny.
Yeah,
True. Okay.
the horniest of them all.
And the last one I have written down for him is 1985's Blue Ice. A private detective is hired to find an ancient book. What he doesn't know is that the book has the power to turn any woman into a nymphomaniac.
Whoa. And only Gatorade can stop him.
And that a group of Nazi scientists who fled the U.S. after World War II also want the book and will do anything to get it.
Anything.
This is like the Screwballs 2 part of the Nazi
Loose
regime.
screws.
Yeah. That are like, we got to find the horny book. You know, by the way, how did that horny book not make it into the world of Screwballs? Because that would have been a perfect sequel. Them doing like an Indiana Jones adventure for the horny book.
Screwballs 3.
I just want to see some. I want to see Indiana Jones and the Adventure for the Horny Book.
I'm hoping they bring back Short Round for that one. Because, Short Round's a teenager, he's getting that age.
The search for the horny book is not archaeology. It's a race against good and evil.
Yeah, that's what you keep saying, Dr. Jones, but we know. No, seriously, it's for research, everybody. For research. So Tom McGowan, another director who directed The Case of Claire Hansen, 16 credits, including 2 episodes of The Magical World of Disney. Those 2 are The Hound That Thought He Was a Raccoon and Killers of the High Country. Schlossberg Cohen,
Nailed it.
who directed, the only segment he directed was The Night Train. Mm-hmm. So he directs the other parts.
The most important part.
I would agree so, yeah.
Because he's the producer, right? That's the producer.
Yes, he is also the producer of this movie, and he produced The Dark Side, The Dark Side of Love, which is one of the 3 movies in this. He has 2 directing credits, including this movie, and then some movie about some kid who finds a Bigfoot and wants to hide it, but then also finds an escaped tiger that everybody wants to kill.
Can the tiger be ridden by the Bigfoot?
I'd hope so.
God, that's got to be it.
Whoa. Like He-Man?
Mm-hmm.
You have a movie about a kid who finds Bigfoot, but then also a tiger escapes and people want to kill it. Like, pick one.
Whoa. He-Man and the Hendersons. Think about it.
Greg G. Tallis, who also directed the segment of The Case of Claire Hansen, 13 credits. This was his last movie. He started directing in 1949.
Wow.
And he also directed Cataclysm, which is the Nazi movie.
I feel like every single person here is somehow involved with Cataclysm.
A lot of them are, yeah, including Philip Jordan, who wrote the movie Bobby, 69 credits. His first credit was in 1942, and guess what other movie he wrote?
Oh, wait, Mike, I did a deep dive on Philip Jordan. Can I just hit some of the highlights of his screenwriting career?
But just let me say, he also wrote Cataclysm.
Yes. So, okay, first screenplay credit, 1942, Syncopation, which was a movie about jazz. He also wrote When Strangers Marry, which was directed by gimmick film master William Castle and starred Robert Mitchum and Kim Hunter from Planet of the Apes.
Amazing.
He also wrote Johnny Guitar, starring Joan Crawford, and Grindbin All-Star Sterling Hayden. He also wrote Detective Story, which is about Kirk Douglas plays a detective chasing down a deadly abortionist. He also wrote El Cid, starring Charlton Heston. He also wrote Battle of the Bulge, starring Henry Fonda and every other white male actor from that era. It's my favorite World War II movie. He also wrote 55 Days at Peking, also starring Charlton Heston and David Niven. This guy has written some big classic Hollywood pictures.
And he wrote Cataclysm and Night Train to Terror.
I think he wrote all three of these movies.
Yeah, he's the writer of this movie.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Did he ever write again?
Hollywood will break your heart, kid.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, I believe he's had credits up through the 80s, and then he died.
Yeah, this is 1985, so I'm wondering, maybe he took the train. So we get into the cast, unless you guys have anything else to mention about the crew.
No, I'm ready for the cast.
So the cast, the first person I have written down is Gabriel Whitehouse, who plays the porter on the train. Guys, it's his only credit.
Really? This was his big break in Hollywood.
Tony Giorgio, who plays Satan in this movie. Guys, 58 credits, including The Godfather and Magnum Force.
Now, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I looked at
Please.
the cast list. I looked at the credits. And Satan was played by Lou Cypher.
Oh, well, hold on. Who's Tony Giorgio?
Tony Giorgio
A
was one of
pretender.
the two
That's who
actors
he
who
is.
were so embarrassed by this film, Mike, that they took their names off of it when it came out. And so in the film, the devil is credited as being played by Lou Cypher. And in the film, God is being credited as being played by God. They say God as himself.
Well, I'd buy it. I mean, I've never seen him. I don't know if he exists or not, but I assume that's him in the movie.
He's no George Burns.
So don't worry about looking that up, though, Mike. You are right that it is him, but he didn't want to admit it. It was added later.
Wow. Yeah, well, we'll get to God then, who plays by Ferdy Mayne, who...
It's my favorite rapper.
290 credits. 290.
How is that possible?
I guess he's in every movie ever.
He has to be, like, accidentally starring in some movies. Like, people are secretly filming him while he's filming other scenes.
Listen, he's Where Eagles Dare, Fearless Vampire Killers, Conan the Destroyer, Barry Lyndon, all sorts of movies.
That's amazing.
He's just popping up everywhere, man. He's just like a wandering actor. He just goes from set to set going like, you got to roll?
I think he used to sleep on the back lot. And so he'd just wake up and just walk through whatever scene they were filming.
Yeah.
So no, Ferdy Mayne apparently sent director J. Schlossberg Cohen a letter admitting that he was a little embarrassed by the movie and would like to get that name removed.
Exactly. And he said, all right, from now on, you're God.
And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to go shoot Barry Lyndon
Because
now.
before the end of that sentence, he was already acting in another movie.
So Richard Mull, guys,
Bull.
I don't know when we're ever going to get to talk about Richard Mull again. He might show up in another Grindbin movie because he's 179 credits. Tanner, you're a big fan of his, I understand.
Listen, that man made bald beautiful. And interesting enough, in this movie, he has two very excellent wigs to cover up that baldness. But you still know it's him. You can't hide that sexiness.
He plays the character of Otto, or the nurse, as I call him. Because I don't know, his profession's not really explained, as we'll get
I
into.
assume he's an orderly.
Yeah, sure.
Or a disorderly. Am
Oh,
I right, folks?
boy.
The Fat Boys' favorite movie.
Disorderlies has got to make an appearance on the bin at one point.
Mini Ben.
God, that's great.
Mini Ben.
I think it's a Crown movie, by the way.
We need to do Disorderlies like year 7. just build it up and build it up.
Yeah, it's a late Crown picture, I believe. So
A crowning achievement.
You gotta, yeah, it is. That and guys, who's that guy that was Flash Gordon?
Oh, Sam Jones?
Yeah,
Sam Jones.
Who?
Sam Jones.
Sam Jones.
You ever seen the Crown movie My Chauffeur that stars him and the girl from Valley Girl? Classic. No, but Richard Mole, you can see him in all great credits that they list right at the top of his IMDb. He has 179 credits, guys, but the credits they list as his most shining achievements are Scary Movie 2, Jingle All the Way, House 1, and The Flintstones.
That is just... They don't even mention, like, Cataclysm.
Nope.
Or... They don't mention, like, Evil Speak or The Dungeon Master.
Number 1, Scary Movie 2.
But he was in Sidekicks.
Scary Movie 2, Bobby.
Wow.
Yep. He was... a double was apparently used for him in...
You know, I never noticed.
Yeah, really? Because the double wears the same clothes, has the same hairstyle, but he has very hairy arms.
It's about as believable as Ernie Hudson's brother in The Human Tornado.
Yeah, because Richard Mole's double has arms like mine. They're totally hairy Italian arms.
You do have very Italian arms, Mike.
Yes, but Richard Mole has no hair on his arms, so it's very shocking to see just this big change. They could have thrown in maybe some sort of Wolfman thing or something to kind of throw you off, but no. And the last person I have in the credits, guys, for the cast, unless you have somebody else to add, is John Philip Law, who plays the character of Harry in this movie. 85 credits, including Barbarella and Space Mutiny with our boy, Reb Brown, Grindbin All-Star Reb
Amazing.
Brown.
And if anyone hasn't seen Barbarella, do. He's fantastic in it, playing the blind angel Rhaegar. He spends the entire movie pretty much just in a thong with angel wings, bumping into stuff because he's playing a blind man.
Which when I watch that, I'm like, is he really blind? Or is he just trying to get pity out of Barbarella? I don't know.
You know, whatever works.
I gotta say, seeing that movie as a kid, I was like, whoa, my life has changed. So, Bobby, you have other people?
I have a very important one, actually. Mark
please.
Lawrence, who plays
yes.
Mr. Weiss in our third segment of the film. I think it's the third segment, am I right? And
well, third segment is Cataclysm.
Okay, yeah, then yes. But yeah, Mr. Weiss is played by Mark Lawrence, and
Oh, no.
we've got ourselves a Grindbin All-Star, fellas.
Oh, no.
And this is especially significant with having Tanner here on the show. Tanner, do you know what he was in?
No, what was he
Why,
in?
he's Mr. Booth from Swap Meet. He's Mr. Swap Meet.
Oh, okay. You know, I thought he looked familiar, but I couldn't place him.
Well, he is in that old age makeup. He also has many other roles that he starred in. He was in The Big Easy in 1986. He was in Newsies in 92. He got to work with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino twice, having starred as Sam the Bellhop in 4 Rooms in 95, and then starring as a motel owner in From Dusk Till Dawn in 96. Worked with Schwarzenegger in 99 for End of Days, and his final role before passing away was Looney Tunes Back in Action as the Acme VP.
Oh, wow. Well, at least he got to be VP.
You know, he went out on top.
Yeah.
Almost at the top. Almost there.
Like, he made it all the way
Just
to,
one
upper
guy.
management, but he couldn't get
Also
there.
has roles in Diamonds Are Forever and The Man with the Golden Gun as different characters, and starred in Marathon Man. This dude has starred in some serious stuff and also did this.
Wait, you can't be in 2 James Bond movies as different characters.
It happens quite a
what the
lot.
Fuck?
You know.
In the same era, too.
Yeah.
That come on.
Yeah, you can when you're Mr. Swap Meet.
He swapped the roles. Swap the roles, goddammit.
This son of a bitch.
Because we also have in GoldenEye, Joe Don Baker
Yeah.
plays the CIA agent, and in an earlier James Bond movie, he plays the main bad guy.
It's one thing I love considering the James Bond movies is that Joe Don Baker and Jeffrey Wright have played the same character.
You know, I always get Joe Don Baker's role in GoldenEye confused with his role in Congo. Can't.
Hey, make it headcanon that they're the same guy, and
They
that
might
Congo
be.
takes place in the James Bond universe.
You know, it could. It's a diamond-powered gun.
Yeah.
You know, strangely, that part's missing in the book. Nothing to do with some sort of diamond gun.
To jump back for a second, though, guys, I want to say one more thing about John Philip Law, is that he also starred as Italian comic book character Diabolique in infamous cult film Danger Diabolique.
Yes. You have anybody else from the cast you want to mention?
I've got
that's
one
just
more. I've got one more.
Yeah, jump in. Let's all throw one in. We each need to contribute one.
Yeah, everyone gets one. So there's the rock singer / breakdancer from the musical segment. Byron Jordan, who I'm going to assume is either the son or grandson of the screenwriter, Philip Jordan.
Gotta be.
And I'm thinking that might be the entire reason why there's that whole musical segment in this motion picture, or the multiple musical segments, is he wanted to give his son or grandson a job and promotion for his breakdancing / pop 80s flash dance inspired music.
So is that why there's that 3-minute shot of slow motion breakdancing?
Yep.
It goes on for an eternity.
I bet money on it. I'm going to go with grandson.
When that scene happened, I felt like I was on the night train.
I literally was.
So guys, the movie starts, and boy, do we fucking start strong, right?
Oh, yeah. We hear a scream, and Locomotive 19 is barreling right toward us.
And, well, yes, a train set is barreling right towards the camera.
Here, it's a beautiful morning for Thomas and his friends.
Oh, my God. We have to... I can't wait to get into the miniature work in this movie, because we are talking top-notch, guys.
Oh, God, yeah, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Because right now, we need to do a music video.
Oh, yeah, so we're starting damn strong, man. We have the scream, the toy train, and then, boom, music video. Here we go. And the first thing I write,
I
though,
hope
is...
you like this song.
Yeah, we're going to hear this song multiple times throughout the whole movie. It is very catchy. This is when I wrote, wait, we're in a train? Because it looks like we're in not a train. Because the room looks to be like a portable classroom.
It's huge.
Yeah, it does not feel like a train. One of those cars is definitely room T4 at my elementary school. You know, the like you said, the portable ones, because they're expanding.
And they aren't even trying to do anything where they're like shaking the set like it would be a train. They're like, nah, fuck that. The rock music's enough.
No, if they shook the walls, all the backpacks would fall off the hooks.
So we're in a movie called Night Train to Terror, and it starts out immediately with a music video, which Tanner, you're gonna do a rendition of the song right now for us, right?
Yeah,
Hit it.
I'm ready for it.
Ready? Go.
Mom's at the mall buying some shoes. You're at home, you got nothing to do. Dance with me, dance with me. Oh, come on and dance with me, dance with me. Oh, dance with me, dance with me. Oh, that's just
God
that.
damn.
Bravo.
Thank
Wow.
you. I was.
That is my new ringtone.
You know, I forgot what the chorus is, which is weird because they repeat that chorus nonstop.
Wait, I thought the chorus was just dance with me.
It is. It like came to me while I was singing. I was like, okay, there's a
you
part of
froze
it.
up for a second, like, oh shit,
Mom,
I'm not gonna be able
I was like,
to,
Mom
to
is
bring it home.
buying shoes. You're at home. You got.
You know, because when you started singing that other stuff, Tanner, I'm like, this song has other words?
Your teacher preaches class like he's some kind of jerk. Wow, that was. I thought you were gonna hit us with the night train, not the night moves, Tanner.
Oh, you want me to do night moves? I can do night moves.
You know what? Why not? Let's do it.
Working on those night moves. Oh damn! I thought I knew that song. I don't know that song.
Oh damn!
Well, you tried.
Put you on the spot. You floundered. Whoa!
How far off? I start to wonder. Starting my time, I'm not 1062. Is it funny how the night moves?
Oh, wow.
Well, thank you for joining us.
I just want to say that Tanner was begging us before the show started to let him sing. So you got,
I got
it
this
out,
new
Tanner.
microphone. I got to test it out, man. Got to take
wanna-
it for a
damn.
walk.
You want to plug your, what have you, SoundCloud?
Please check out my latest tracks. I do a lot of Billie Eilish covers, some Bob Seger, some Woody Guthrie. You know, I'm very eclectic. It's just me and a guitar, man. Just me and a guitar.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of amazing about what you just said, Tanner? At least on my end, and I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit, listeners, but when you said you do Billie Eilish covers, your voice distorted like she does in Bad Guys.
Nice.
It like slowed down. You're like, whoa, he's doing it right now. I should see him in a crown.
I can run this fucking town.
This is a musical episode, by the way. Mike wasn't aware of this. He didn't agree to it, but
The rest of this review is going to be sung.
This is where we get into very mind trap territory, because we start from a music video and then we immediately cut to, this is the note I have, there are two old dudes sitting in some sort of space room in the train.
Yeah, they're at like a light up table. Like they're gonna start tracing some
I thought
stuff.
they're
Yeah.
at, like on the Millennium Falcon ride on Disneyland right now.
Because the window is of space, and yeah, they got the light up table in front of them. One of them's in a black tuxedo, one's in a white tuxedo, and the conductor...
Spy versus spy.
Yes, and the conductor comes up, and he says, "What can I do for you, Mr. Satan?" And that's when we learn that this is God and Satan.
Mr. Satan is my father.
Yeah. And they sit in a space train, like in a space car in this train where they're going to judge people. And Mr. Satan turns to the conductor and he says, "Train crashes at dawn." And he says, "Right on schedule, Mr. Satan." And then God and him have this giant existential conversation about man and whether they should follow the good side or the bad side. And I don't know if you have any of it written down, but it's gibberish and it goes on for minutes.
It's pretty wandering, but there's an interesting part where God does say, "Satan, you once sat at my right side in heaven. Would you like to come back?" And he thinks on it and goes, "Nah."
So is this like a regular routine that they go on the train together? Like, is this like, the required board meeting or something? Like, what is this?
They get together once every year. It's kind of like, is it same time next year?
Yeah.
It's they're having kind of a torrid train affair.
It's a lot like Xavier and Magneto.
Yes,
Like, they're gonna meet and they're gonna play some chess.
Brian Singer, you hack.
Yes. You're many things, Brian Singer, but most of all, okay, not most of all, but you are also a hack.
So they got to have their like yearly meeting for sure, right? Where God and Satan are going to go over just 3 people that are going to die, the whole 3 people that die in a year.
Yep.
Okay.
This is why we have a population problem, you guys.
Because apparently they're going to judge people now. The space screen now becomes a projection screen, and we go to, quote, "Let's check out the first case," which is a lady in a wedding dress is riding shotgun in a car. It's driving erratically. She looks at the driver, and she goes, "Harry, you're driving too fast." And then the car flies off a bridge and into the water.
And that's when the narrator comes on.
Now the narrator tells us,
This is the case of Harry Billings, a hard-working salesman by day. By night, a man who enjoys cars, women, and booze. Perhaps a little too much. We see him in a hospital bed with padded walls.
it is his wedding night, and his wife lies dead in the bottom of a river, and Harry lies in a sanitarium ward, about to live a new life of terror.
I have questions.
Yes.
Yes, a hand raised in the back.
So, who sent him to the sanitarium? I would assume the authorities.
The sanitarium police.
Sanitarium police.
I believe it
Yeah.
was a pair of beavers that put him on a stretcher.
They just happened by and like, let's take him to the sanitarium. So no one picks his wife out of the
She dead.
water. She's dead. That's just happened. When you die, little known fact, if you die in a car that goes off a bridge, it's against the law to retrieve the body.
No, they just go from whence she came as they just see the body float down the river. They're like, what are we going to do about it? Fish her out? Come on. She's,
What do you want
she's
from
for
us?
the fishes.
See?
No, Tanner, I'm assuming they gave her a proper burial. Are you happy now?
No.
Well, Tanner, he has now found himself in a sanitarium. Like Bobby said, 2 beavers found him, strapped him to a gurney, and brought him in here. This doctor introduces herself to Harry and says dinner will be served soon. And she leaves him locked in a padded room, strapped to a gurney. And he's like, where in the hell am I? But she just leaves, right? And then the doctor, she goes into another room with this old doctor. And he's working on some naked lady also strapped to a gurney. And he goes, hey, how's that new patient doing?
And she says, belligerent. And then he responds with, he's a very handsome man.
I can't argue with that.
Then we cut to him getting shock therapy.
Yeah. Are you following it so far, guys?
Man, the listeners have no idea. They're like, what are they talking? Just you fucking wait. Then we cut to some people. I just write,
Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is Brad and Janet.
It totally is. I didn't even think of that.
it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but they just like didn't have any actual footage. Because from what I can tell, okay, I don't know if you guys think this too or not, but it looks like they just filmed random people and pretended they were the characters at this point. Like that they found two people getting out of a car and secretly filmed
And
them.
then tried to dress a couple actors in, approximations of those outfits so they can use that footage.
Because what we see is mind trap levels of bad editing and voiceover work in ADR, where these characters apparently go up to a building where Richard Mole
Riff Raff.
answers, and he says, he has a one-sided conversation, okay? The eye lines don't match, and they wouldn't match because he's talking to nobody.
I didn't even catch that until you just pointed it out. I'm actually watching that scene again. It's like, oh yeah.
There's no reverse. Like they only do voiceover for those people. They never show the actors. They show the lady once.
Huh.
But you will never see them again. I was just like, what is going on? Because he's having a one-sided conversation where they're like, hey, I don't even know if he's responding to what the ADR is saying to him, but they say, our car broke down, or we got lost, so can we use your phone? And he's like, hey, there's phones on the highway. We stupidly didn't bring any change. And he just says, all right, well, come on in. That's when we finally see the actors. We cut to this lady talking on the phone. She is Mrs. Howard Green, because that's how she answers all her phone calls, apparently. And she says, yes, we need directions to our hotel. And then at the same time she's saying this,
Behind her, we see Bull from Night Court dragging her husband away.
Yeah, and she doesn't really notice or care. And he kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacres him in the background, just like the Leatherface hit or something. And then while she's done with her phone call, he then kidnaps her.
And that is depicted by just a pair of hands coming in from the side of the frame.
A pair of very hairy hands.
A pair of Mike Wood's arms just come in and go, yoink!
But now you know why there was no reverse, guys. Because those actors were not on set the same day he was.
Wow.
This was completely filmed after.
I mean, hey, you know what? Well done.
Yeah, no, they did it well, right? Unless you knew the trivia, you wouldn't know. You may get away with it. I'm sure on the Blu-ray you can really spot the seams in that one, though. But now we're back to the old doctor with Harry, and this is where this movie goes really off the rails. As he says, "I'm going to put you under hypnosis, Harry." And
it's like, I'm going to give you this injection, which will put you under hypnosis. Not how hypnosis works.
No, you can get a hypnosis injection.
yeah.
Yeah.
A hypnosis injection.
Well, Tanner, what does he tell him once he's under his hypnosis injection? What does he have to do for the doctor?
He has to drug people and bring them back to the hospital.
He specifically is asked to roofie women.
Yeah.
They may mention a simple pill dropped into any liquid, and then they just cut to a bar.
Right, so they aren't specific about women yet. So when we cut to the bar, it's our hero at the bar with a guy who looks like an old-timey gangster.
Oh, that guy's great.
Like he's got like a white fedora and a black suit.
At first I called him Dixiecrat because I thought he was wearing a political convention hat. What is with this character, right? So old-timey gangster, Dixiecrat. This guy's sitting at the bar, and you're right, Taylor. You think that Harry's gonna hit on him?
Yeah,
He kind of does.
Because the bartender pours him a drink. The bartender is a nice-looking blonde lady. Okay, she pours him a drink, and then Harry takes the shot and then just really obviously in front of everybody pours it on the ground.
Just blatantly. This is like Airplane. That's when my drinking problem began.
well, not even that. He dumps it on the other side of the bar. Like where the bartender will see this puddle of alcohol.
Wait. He dumps it on bar side?
Yeah.
Yes. You see, he tips it over the bar side.
Every time she looks away from him, he reaches straight out in front of him, a full arm's extension, and then just turns it upside down.
And the Dixiecrat guy can, see this whole thing.
Oh, he's just
no,
watching
never
it.
mind. He's reading a fucking newspaper that says, FDR wins third term or something.
Dewey defeats Truman.
So now we got hypnosis and time travelers. But and it's commented. The bartender's like, "Wow, you're a fast drinker." He's like, and she turns around and he pours another one out.
And then he turns to the Hat Man and he goes, "Hey, Slick, drinks are on me."
Hey, all right.
And he goes, "Well, thank you, my good man."
And he goes, "Hey, to your health."
And he goes, "To beautiful blondes." And he kind of winks at the Harry winks at the bartender, like, cut to the bartender's now strapped in a Gertie naked, and she's massaged by the hands of
It looks
Bull.
like a massage.
Bull from next.
It doesn't look like a choke. He comes down.
It's a nice little
like,
shoulder rub.
Yeah, he's like, you
Yeah.
comfortable?
And honestly, I know it's supposed to be really menacing, but she doesn't seem afraid of it.
No, she's kind of like, oh,
Like they
is this
didn't
why
they
I'm
didn't
here?
cue this actress to be like, you're terrified. She's just like, oh, that's kind of nice. Thank you, Richard.
And so then we get to people sitting at a church. Yes, this is the movie just jumps from thing to thing.
Let
and then
the
Harry,
circle be unbroken. I think it was starting to turn into that Free Willy song. Carry.
Harry walks in and he just stands next to another blonde lady and starts singing from the Bible. Like you do,
he just,
right?
I think it's a hymn book, Mike. Heathen.
Whatever. I just assume they open the
how
Bible.
The Bible's full of songs.
I think they just go, open it up, we'll just sing some of it, because this is boring as all hell. Nobody wants to hear me read from it, right?
It's also, that scene is really weird because we, of course, are focused on the blonde woman in the foreground, and Harry comes in through the back. And it really does seem like he knows her because he goes to her row. There's a woman standing next to the blonde, and he kind of excuses himself to get next to her. And they start singing together. It reads as though they know each other, and
definitely
that's
does.
even weirder.
Well, she has eyes for him, Tanner.
Well, yeah.
Where very clearly she was given the direction from the director to look at him like,
Hey, man, she's seen Barbarella. She knows what he's got going on under that suit.
She's going top to bottom, dude. She's getting a full look.
This one goes all the way to the top.
getting an eyeful.
This is where I have some questions, guys. So they're handed wine in church, which used to be a thing, I guess.
Yeah, we're doing the old communion switcheroo.
I don't know. Back in the 80s, I don't know, churches were just giving out wine and crackers. I don't know why.
They did. I've been to church recently. I don't remember snack time.
The only time I ever had wine was not in a Christian church.
It's more of a Christian church parking lot.
No, I went to a bar mitzvah, and at the end of the ceremony, they gave the kids these type of Costco cups full of Manischewitz.
You sounded so judgmental. Like fucking Costco cups of Manischewitz. I mean, Jesus.
Well, I was also, what am I, 13 at the time? I'm like, am I allowed to drink this?
You're such a goody two-shoes.
But the other thing I kept wondering, I'm like, can you fit a roofie in this thing?
You were wondering that at 13?
And would it dissolve in time? Because he roofies the lady, okay?
Yeah.
I don't think a roofie's going to dissolve in a Costco cup of Manischewitz within 1 second. Do you?
Honestly, I don't know enough about roofies.
Neither do I, but I just assume that a pill cannot instantly dissolve in what amounts to about 1 inch of liquid.
But Mike, consider this. This pill came from a guy who has hypnosis injections.
Exactly.
That's true.
Anything goes, dude.
It's science, Mike.
She saw Barbarella. She was already ready to go.
Oh my God, she's strapped to a Gertie.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
the next thing we see. Oh my God, guys.
Surprise.
And then all of a sudden, Dixie Man's back in the movie?
Yeah, Slick has come looking for his bartender friend because he's getting dry at the end of the bar.
But the way he comes looking for her, I don't even know if he knocks on a door. He just stands outside a door, and then Bull from Night Court and this old doctor come out there like, yeah, what the fuck you want? And he goes, have you seen this lady? He doesn't say she was a bartender. He calls her by her name, which we never heard. I've never heard this name in my life.
Oh, I was like, who the fuck is he talking about? I didn't know until we see her. I'm like, oh, that's the bartender.
Yeah, because he goes, hey, do you know about this lady I know? And they're like, what? And he goes, yeah, she was taken by a man from this bar this one night. And then I looked up the car registration, which I don't know how you can do that, but apparently I can. And it's registered to this address, to a hospital. So is she here?
And that changes the doctor's tune. He's like, oh, yes, come inside.
Yeah, okay. So then Bull brings Dixie Man into this padded room, and the bartender's just in there, and he yells at her. He's like, hey, are you okay? And then Bull from Night Court goes, no, man, she's crazy. Look at her. Nothing upstairs now. She's gone crazy.
Yeah, they flat out tell her she's in a vegetative state.
And the Dixie Man just goes, okay, bye, and then just leaves the movie.
Well, he checked on her. He did his due diligence.
Guess I gotta find a new bar.
So that's it. He went back to his time, and that was that. Then we cut to a woman okay, I have so many problems with this. We just immediately cut from that to a woman eating alone at a table at a restaurant, okay?
Like you do.
She's at like a table for 4 by herself.
Who hasn't done this?
And also, by the way, we're very close up. Like, they weren't allowed to film it here or something. We're like, we got the camera on the fucking table or something, pointed like straight up at her. And then Harry comes up from off screen, or at least somebody who has Harry's voice. We just see in voiceover, he goes, "Can I sit next to you?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And then he roofies her. Cut to, she's in a gurney naked. Damn it. Oh, I'm sorry. She's not naked yet. She's in a gurney. Okay.
No, they're attempting to prepare her like the other women, but she escapes.
She didn't want the other half of that 50.
did not.
No. And that's when the hairy arms of Bull from Night Court try and capture her. And this whole scene is her running away from a pair of hairy arms.
Just waving. And she tries to run into another room and flings the double doors open, and my God, what's there?
Oh, this is incredible. So, Tanner, do you think there are rooms like this in sanitariums?
You mean like torture rooms?
Well, as I can see, it's just the room in case you want to hang yourself.
It's the hanging room.
It's like, no, it's in the back. If you want to hang yourself, please do it in the hanging room. It's easier to clean up, okay? Don't do it in your cell.
I mean, that's very considerate for everyone.
The other thing, too, is why is she swinging around? Did somebody start the swing, or was she just like, hey, this is a fresh one? I didn't think, like, when you hang yourself that you swing around a whole bunch, but I don't know.
There was a breeze in there.
Also, who was that?
Oh, that's just another roofied lady.
Just a random strange lady.
Tanner, at one point I go, how many women do they kidnap a night? Because, they're going to run out of people in this town.
They're going to run out of roofies.
Yeah, at some point the government's going to be interested. Why does that mental hospital go through like a fucking crate of roofies a week?
Like that the government has like statistics.
They're taking inventory.
Listen, there is a roofie shortage in America along with the flu vaccine. We have to track every single roofie used.
It's a sanitarium, so I assume it's government funded.
This seems like a private operation.
I just think they would be like, look, what's with all the roofies? I didn't know that mental hospitals needed roofies. Like, yeah, I guess new treatment. I don't know. So
it's experimental.
So we got a swinging hanging lady.
Now I get it. That's where you get the Costco cups, because they buy the Costco-sized things of roofies.
They're right next to each other in the same aisle.
And they're getting themselves some samples on the way there. Okay.
Oh, you don't want to try those samples. You'll never get out of there.
Oh, welcome to America, 2019. Roofies at the Costco.
What are these, Costco roofies? Jesus.
So we've got swinging, hanging dead lady who we don't know. We've got the restaurant lady,
swinging, hanging dead lady,
trying to run from hairy arms. The hangy room is right off the kitchen, very convenient. And then Bull kills her with a butcher knife and
like a cartoonishly large meat cleaver.
We never see his face though, so you have to say hairy hands.
The Italian arms.
Yeah, Italian arms kills her.
There is one insert shot of like Bull in the lobby where he's like, "Oh, which way am I going to run? Which way am I going to run?" And then he runs off camera. That was clearly filmed later.
We should say that he also apparently the downstairs of the sanitarium is that of a mansion.
Yeah.
Because there's this, like, decorative staircase and paintings, and it's, like, all wood and everything. But the rest of the sanitarium looks like, I don't know, something out of the Ice Cream Man or something.
Perhaps this is a maniac mansion.
Oh, my God. Oh. Holy shit.
Now, Mike, have you been to a sanitarium at any point?
No. I don't think sanitariums exist anymore.
Well, then how the hell do you know it's wrong?
Well, you're right. You know what? You're right.
You're sitting here being all judgy about what kind of roofies they use and what kind of cups they've got. You don't know what it's like in there.
That's true. You know, yeah, actually, those cups are kind of the cups you would use, like Nurse Ratched was handing out. So, you need those too. She gets cleaved.
Cleaved and stuck to the wall.
Yeah. Which she wasn't near the wall, but now she is. And then Harry just wakes up in a bed screaming, "No!" And then the female doctor, the woman doctor's there, right, Bobby?
Yeah, Dr. Fargo shows up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. She says, I'm here. Then cut to, for God's sakes, Harry Arms has got another woman. Another lady's on a gurney. We didn't even see this woman get roofied. She's just here now.
Yeah, this is just some lady in a bikini getting shackled to a hospital bed.
Okay, now I had a lot of questions. One, where did Harry get her that she's wearing a bikini in the middle of the night?
It's a valid question. Also, she seems to be taking a nap. So maybe she just like wandered in off the street. And this is a Goldilocks situation.
This sanitarium was just right.
But Italian Arms tries to grab her, and he works. He straps her to the gurney. Then he puts his hand over her mouth and kind of rolls her around a bit. Then we cut back to Dr. Fargo and Harry, and she's giving him an injection of that. You got to keep it. You got to keep those guys fed with that hypnosis.
Hypnojuice.
Yeah, hypnojuice. And she has him in her house now, I think. Is what I say.
He's in like a
her
suite
bedroom
in the Maniac Mansion.
Where the fuck are we? So all the doctors live on site. So this is like a chained heat type situation. Like she has like a John Vernon type of office.
I think so.
Okay, I'll buy it. And so she says, "I want to have sex with you, Harry." That's basically where this movie goes. Is she's like, "No, I want to have sex with you," and then they do. And we cut to,
and she's explaining to him, like mid-coitus, I'm only trying to cure you. No more hurt, pain.
And Bobby, right after that, we have another lady strapped to a fucking gurney. Like, there's another.
Yeah, some redheaded lady is being harassed with a hacksaw.
Yeah, by Harry Arms. This is when I write, how many ladies do they roofie a night? You know, she got like a 3/4 of a 50 because they just tear one boob out. And then, yes, he's teasing her with that big hacksaw, Bobby.
And we are clearly near the kitchen because as he begins to finish things off with this hacksaw, we see the shadows of the other implements hanging. And it's just like soup ladles and spatulas.
So menacing.
He saws her leg off, and there's just blood that squirts on the wall. Then we like take the camera into this back room full of body parts, and then
it's like a shitty haunted house.
It's a shitty haunted house, but that also doubles as like a shipping facility for body parts because they got like a full fucking operation where they're crating these things. They got a goddamn conveyor belt.
Yeah, I lost it at this point.
What the fuck is going on?
I didn't know what was up, what was down.
But you know what, Bobby? You're going to find out. And you know why?
Why's that?
Cut to somebody opening a briefcase full of money.
We finally have a plot.
And that's when the voiceover comes back on. The narrator goes, bodies for money. Bodies for money. And then,
of course,
it goes on about something about how this hospital would sell body parts to medical schools around the country. Fuck that shit. A plane is taking off.
You know what that means.
Something is happening. By the way, what happens with that plane? Fucking nothing, because we just cut to a scene where Dr. Fargo and the old doctor are just in the hospital again. So nobody's traveled. Nothing has happened.
But we're just gonna have a toast.
Yeah,
because the plan worked. The business is booming. Yeah.
So Bobby, how do they celebrate? How does she celebrate with the old doctor?
With a bottle of Night Train. No. They toast their drinks, but then he has to take a phone call.
Oh God. Yeah, he goes on like a 1-minute phone call where he's like, "Hello? Yeah. Okay. All right." And then while he's doing this, she roofies his drink.
You can't trust anybody.
No.
Really.
And then I love this is he drinks it. So the old doctor drinks that drink, and then he's like, "Hold on a second. I felt this before. Wait a second." And then he slowly realizes it. And this is just maybe the best part of acting in the whole movie. As he kind of tries to grab at her, and then he just falls on the desk.
Boom. Face plant.
Yeah. Then she cuts his head open in an operating room.
He's getting lobotomized.
Yes, now I'm going to lobotomize you, doctor, just like you did to so many others. And I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? I thought everybody was on board for the roofie operation where we cut women's legs off and sell them to medical schools. Also, why would the medical schools want just a leg? Wouldn't they want the whole body?
Not necessarily. You sometimes just got leg class.
So, yeah, okay, so maybe they're just like...
You never had to dissect a foot?
Maybe that's the whole thing. They're like, look, the whole cadaver is really expensive. Can I just get an arm?
It's like an installment plan.
Yeah, do you want the right arm or the left arm? Because there is a price difference. Whatever's cheap. And so the medical schools around the country, UCLA, USC, all of them, they're all getting just various body parts. Not the full body, just like maybe they'll get a shoulder. Did you think they like build the body themselves, like from different parts,
It's
like
pieces?
a sheetar? Yeah,
Holy
like
shit.
a pieces.
It's like pieces.
Well,
that's why
I
all the
understand
women
that's,
have to be like attractive 20, 30-year-old women. Because building a gross lady
Now,
body.
I had a friend who went through medical school, and my understanding is that's the midterm.
Oh, okay. They just put a bunch of pieces in front of you, and they go, all right, make a body.
You've got 2 minutes to assemble
Yeah,
this.
make her whole.
I assume you know what a human looks like. Get to work.
And so then, yeah, she's lobotomized the old doctor. Then we go to Dr. Fargo. She's in Harry's room, and she goes, it's just the two of us now, Harry.
Yes, the plan explained. Now we have a place to ourselves, Harry. You bring home the bacon, and I'll fry it.
Wonderful. That's not
But Harry-
said by any dialogue on screen, by the way. This is all ADR. Everything
No.
is fucking ADR. And I bet they goddamn high-fived each other in the fucking booth after they came up with that little gem.
Oh, that was the money line for sure.
So then, Bobby...
But Harry's not happy with this, though.
No.
He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want this. He's not about that life. He wants to go back to being regular-ass Harry, the drunk that killed his own wife.
It's the little pleasures for him.
So he's an asshole. Like, he's just a fucking piece of garbage.
Well, he doesn't want to be, like, scheming. He just wants to be an asshole.
Yeah, but I guess, so, this is 1985, so you can just drive off a bridge drunk and kill your wife, and they're like, I don't see any problem.
They got away with that all the time back then.
Well, like Tanner said, they didn't even bother to fish her body out of the river.
Yeah. They're like, good
They're
riddance.
like, we got another one, I guess.
They just go, every river goes to the ocean, so just let it,
God, she's with the South Sea Queen now.
So then she says, yes, I'll bring home the bacon you fried. He goes, I want to return to a regular life. And she goes, well, where would I fit into your regular life? And he doesn't respond, but at one point he'd be like, well, you don't.
That's kind of what I'm trying to
Take
tell
the
you.
hint.
Cut to a shot of a head in a jar labeled Harry?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on Futurama,
What the fuck is this? What is going on?
You can't trust her either.
It's
She says she
symbolic,
wants him,
Mike.
but no, it's all part of her scam. She's going to cut his head off too.
Okay, that's what
Yeah.
you think, where Harry Arms puts down a jar labeled Harry. Oh, the irony.
Arms.
Yeah. But then Dr. Fargo's just walking around the halls and a weird voiceover comes over in the loudspeaker. It goes, emergency, Harry Billings is missing.
oh no.
So we know he's not dead because she would have been the one who kills him, but she's clearly looking for him. And then she just immediately goes into a room and goes, Harry, I know you're here. He is.
Of course.
So there's no tension and I don't even know what the fuck's going on. And then he
That's why his name isn't Slick.
she goes, all right, Harry, we got to go to the airport and drop those lady body parts off.
Oh, but there's a problem.
What's the problem, Bobby?
Something she wasn't counting on, and he explains it. He says, yesterday's shot wore off. I'm not under your control anymore. I'm going to free the girls. And he reaches way back, and he punches her out.
Which is not out of character. He's already killed a woman, so I'm not surprised that he punches another woman in the face. And damn well that a lot of times that hypnosis drug wore off and he still roofied the women.
Oh, probably. He's already bought the tickets.
All of a sudden he wakes up from hypnosis at one point and he finds a roofie in his hand. He goes, when in Rome, I guess.
It's a living.
And so he ties her up like all the previous victims.
Yeah.
And at that same time, why lobotomized Dr. Brewer is waking up.
Yeah, and then Bobby, what does he do?
Well, he says, I knew I forgot something. I'm supposed to do surgery today.
And he does the best, I'm playing someone with brain damage acting. Like he has this hand
He
quiver. and
Tanner,
his
this
eyes
man
are
is a
like,
fine
"Oh,
actor. How
He
dare
is the
you?
best community theater you could get.
You
He
saw
also-
that
there's like a-
hand work.
It was good. It was very good. There's also a lobotomized orderly that we've never seen before who's with him.
Yeah, who's this fucking guy?
No idea.
Well, you know how Dorf had his assistant?
This is the whatever his name is in Dorf, huh?
What was that guy's
Michael,
name in Dorf? The character
is
name.
that? Oh, the character's name.
The character
It
name?
is. It's Michael.
It was Leonard, I think.
Leonard is the character's
Yeah.
name. That's what I was trying to reach for.
So this is his Leonard, is what you're
This
saying.
is Leonard.
Okay.
This is Dorf does surgery.
You know, with a little bit of bigger budget, I could have seen this doctor being played by Tim Conway. Absolutely.
Oh, rest in
Should've
peace.
been.
Have we talked about?
I know.
Tim
it
Conway's
is sad.
death?
He's not officially a Grindbin All-Star, but
Oh, guys, speaking of rest in peace, little aside here. At the time of this recording, we lost Grindbin All-Star Billy Drago.
whoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he passed today.
Oh,
Just while we're recording?
Not right now, but it happened today.
Oh, goddamn. Oh, well, rest
within
in
the
peace,
last
buddy.
few hours.
Oh, that sucks. So, in this movie...
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, well, what a segue. Thanks for that. So, yeah, he... the doctor goes to this room, Bobby, and he's acting real hard. And he walks in, and he just operates on the first woman he sees, which happens to be Dr. Fargo.
Absolutely. Meanwhile,
Oh, the irony, right? The irony.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Yeah.
it. But while this is happening, we got a hallway fight.
Oh, man. Epic hallway fight with Bull from Night Court's face,
Like
hairy
we
arms.
might as well have heard Duel of the Fates playing in the background.
Okay, have you ever seen a fight scene where there's two characters, but they're played by three people? Because this is... We'll see Bull from Night Court's face sometimes, but most of the time we'll just see hairy arms. Hairy arms versus Harry. It's a very epic fight. The Hardcore Championship is on the line.
Oh man.
But Bobby, what happens in the fight?
Well, the big coup de grace is that Harry's arms take down Harry Arms and slashes his hairy stomach.
It is a nice little prosthetic, too.
While Harry Arms is reacting to the stomach slash, Harry sneaks up behind him with the aforementioned giant meat cleaver and
Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today.
Yeah, home run. And you know, this is the fun part though, is that it actually was Bull from Night Court's, like, they did a cast of his head. So why couldn't they use that for the stunt double? Like, just... So yes, a head flies off, home run.
oh man, the crowd's going wild.
Yeah, and at the same time, the old doctor has finished surgery. He has killed Dr. Fargo. Cut back to the train where God and Satan are. And Satan goes, oh, wasn't that lovely?
No.
Okay, now, did you actually get this line? Because the subtitles on YouTube are all wrong. But from what I could say, he says, you see, my lord, and this is just an example of how fucking bullshit the dialogue of this movie is. Oh, wasn't that lovely? You see, my lord, there is no evil so vile that men will plunge himself into. What?
Huh?
Huh.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I don't have it.
What
Do you,
the
Tanner?
fuck was that? And then God just goes, yes, but Harry was bad, but he did try to redeem himself. And the conductor says, all right, so we got 100 years in purgatory. And now who's he describing? Because Harry didn't die. He's alive. So why are they judging the actions of an
They're
alive?
arguing over he ultimately will end up in heaven or hell when he does die.
Okay, but don't we have other people to deal with?
Listen, don't point out plot holes in the heavenly plan.
Because everybody else in the movie...
I'll use what my dad always uses when I have questions. He works in mysterious ways, Mike.
Okay. So God's got that much time on his hands that they're judging a guy, years out from his actual death.
Time is a construct of man, Mike. God has as much time as he needs.
So he's not able to redeem himself any further. This is about as far as he could go.
No, he can't get any worse. He can't get any better. This is establishing that in the cosmic plan, you have a definitive moment in your life that decides your eternal fate.
So what happens in like 100 years of purgatory? Do you still get to watch TV and stuff, or is it?
Yeah, you get to listen to
that
one
is purgatory.
song. Let me let you guess which song you have to listen to for 100
fuck's
years.
sake! Don't. God damn it!
Now you're getting it.
Yeah, that's a fate worse than death. Oh, Satan says he wants the doctors.
He says, all right, he agrees to the 100 years in purgatory for Harry, and he says, but the doctors, they're mine.
And God says, make sure they get a one-way ticket.
Absolutely.
Also, only one of the doctors is dead. So again, I guess we're judging another man. I mean, he's old, so he's not that far off.
Yeah.
But what about Dixie Man? What about him?
What about him? He's clearly going to heaven.
Like, Bull from Night Court died. Where's he
I don't
going?
think Dixie Man was a human being. I think he was an agent of God, and that's why he's out of time. If you think about it, he works kind of like Uatu the Watcher from Marvel Comics, because he's in this movie at several spots, but all he ever does is observe. That's why when he enters the hospital, he finds out where she is. He gets a good look at her. He makes a mental note and goes, "Okay."
Bobby, do you think he used that time chair from Mine Trap?
Oh, that's how he does it.
Don't you think it was a little weird that he did say roast beef deli sand?
Roast beef Philly deli sand. You think I would have picked up on that?
No, but that's why, because all of a sudden, these guys, they're talking Satan and God. Yeah, fuck that. Cut back to the dance number. Am I right, guys? Fuck that shit.
Dance with me, dance with me.
Yeah, they're playing in the train car again, and they ask the porter, they go, "Hey, how long is this train ride?" And he goes, "It's 1 hour from here."
Well, he says, unless there's a delay, and they go, what could delay us? And then the porter looks right into the camera.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And that dude has glaucoma. Like, he needs some stiff weed because his eyes are fucked.
Yep, but we get the "ain't I a stinker?"
Also, so these people don't know where they're going or how they got on the train, but they've decided, oh, well, fuck it, they brought instruments.
All we need is the music, but we do discover that we've got 1 hour until the train is supposed to crash.
Yeah, and Satan's really looking forward to it.
That's why he's here, man.
He can't stand up. He's rhino hard at this point, and God's just like shaking his head like, ugh, I don't even know why I hang out with you anymore. And the conductor goes, "Guys, it's time to judge the case of Greta Connors." And Satan goes, "Ooh, I really want her."
Ooh. Hey, you guys, remember 16?
Yeah, so Bobby, how's this one start?
We're hanging out at the carnival. So what I'm picking up here, guys, is that we know something about Robbie. He sure likes carnivals.
And speaking of 16, he goes up to a girl who's offering popcorn for sale. But this dialogue is fucking incredible, and I'm gonna play it.
Popcorn, mister?
Little girl, where have you been all my life?
$1 a bag. You gonna buy or crap out?
Tanner, this really is written by a guy who wrote shit in the 40s.
Say that, Mac.
You gonna play me like a sucker?
And he says, "I'm buying and buying and buying." And when he says buying and buying, Tanner, what is he doing?
He's stuffing $100 bills down her shirt like a player.
Man, I'm glad he didn't respond that he was crapping out.
So the first scene of this movie is an old man dressed in a suit hanging out at the carnival, staring at children going on rides, then stuffing... You say it's $100 bills. I saw Washington's face going down a 16-year-old's dress, and he takes the rest of the popcorn bins, throws them on the ground, and he goes, "You coming with me?" And she goes, "Why not?"
Specifically, why the hell not? And while we're busy going, no, the narrator goes, "This is a strange love story." I'm like, I don't want this.
This is why this might be my favorite, because we are going to contradict ourselves within the same line of dialogue. This is amazing. We learn that Greta is from a small town, guys. She traveled to the big city and works in a carnival to support her piano playing. Then she meets this creepy man named George at the carnival, and now they're a couple, and George has promised to make her famous because she always wanted to be a movie star.
Yep.
What? You just said she wanted to play piano.
I want more than one thing, Mike.
Oh, okay.
First you play the piano, and then you become a movie star.
That's how it happens. Some Hollywood producer's gonna come in and go, "Do you hear this, piano?"
Put her in a movie where she talks.
Okay.
And we got talking pictures now.
Yeah, again, written by a man who probably was around during the silent era.
Yeah, this was written by Slick from the first story.
And so the line is, "So he made her a star." Cut to the weirdest porno I've ever seen ever.
I doubt that.
It's Pioneer themed. Okay, so you have to, I want to know, and a Grindbin listener can tweet us the number. If you go to Pornhub and you put in Pioneer porn, how many results could there possibly be?
Man, I will
27.
do that right now.
I would be surprised if there's one.
Our roving reporter, Michael Tanner, is on the case.
Safe search off. Incognito mode.
Dressed like she's in Little House on the Prairie, And this guy comes in with like furs all over him like he's a trapper or something.
He's like hippie Daniel Boone.
Yeah, and they're gonna fuck in like a wooden bed. And the weirdest thing is like they set up this set just for this scene. Like they bought costumes and made a set and everything just for like a split second of her getting naked and being in a Pioneer porn. It's just baffling to me. So then we cut to that Pioneer porn is being screened at a frat party, Bobby.
Yeah, we're at Yellowstream University. The King frat boys are having a stag party.
You would imagine if they panned over a little bit more, not Belushi's jacking it off in this room, right?
Oh, he's probably foughtin'.
Actually, not Belushi only jacks it off on the toilet. I'm pretty sure.
It's true. But I know this is the King frat boys because in the background there's a big fucking party sub that someone's going to work on.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a blow-up doll being blown up at this point. It's not fully inflated, but...
So to answer the question about Pornhub, the first result is a movie called Young Pioneers from 1975, which appears to be a Chinese propaganda movie.
What? You know, you really want to get the message out to the masses. You gotta nestle it in some porn.
I'm gonna jump forward a few minutes to see if there's anything, spicy.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it's the movie in this movie.
It's a 70s Chinese communist propaganda film.
So wait, it's Chinese people dressed up like American pioneers?
No. It's just I believe this is pioneers as in these are Chinese pioneers living in they're living in the countryside, in a commune.
No, I think they're pioneers in the world of propaganda because they were the first to think to use porn.
Oh, okay. So we are in the frat party where this is being screened, because I guess back in the day, guys, your porn viewing's limited, so you got to invite over all the boys and turn off the lights and go, all right, nobody look at each other as we just get a whole bunch of everybody got their box of tissues and everything. We're all going to jack off together, right?
I got a question, fellas. Perhaps it's a little too personal of a question. I'm not asking about your masturbatory tendencies, but I am asking, have you watched an adult film in a group?
Yeah, high school. This
was an occurrence.
Yeah, the moment one of us turned 18, someone hit the rental store, and we would try to find the weirdest porno we could. Beverly Thrillbillies was a popular one. And we would, for the most part, it was just us guys. But we also, we had a lot of female friends. And we did watch mixed group with none of us doing anything. But I do remember...
just all sitting there.
All just sitting there.
Hands...
No, all kind of
at your sides.
We're all having fun. We're making jokes. And we did have...
But one by one, each of you had to get up to use the restroom.
I gotta go. I remember we did have a friend who, he was not out yet at the time, but we all knew. He was always just like, guys, don't you guys just want to rip off your pants and jerk off? And we're like, no, we don't.
Oh, God.
We get it, though. We get it. And someday soon you will, too.
But you know what? We're okay.
We're okay
on that one.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Bobby, because this will be the only time I'll ever get to tell this story.
Yes.
I do have an experience like that with one of the dead members of the Grindbin, Hughes.
Oh, wonderful.
In high school, Hughes and I and another friend of ours were hanging out. His parents...
Like Monster Rain?
Well, his parents were out of town for the weekend. And Hughes found in his dad's room the Pam and Tommy Lee tape, the VHS
wonderful.
tape. And so, we got to fire that thing up.
Surely.
So we put it on the VCR. We're watching this thing. And then his dad just walks into the door in the middle of screening it. And his dad's friend also is there, sits down on the couch and goes, "Yeah, what you guys watching?"
Oh, God.
Yeah, they came home early from the fishing trip, so
that's the best case scenario for that.
That's
I
fantastic.
thought while you were watching it and you said his dad came, I thought you were going to say came on screen, and then suddenly it was a home video.
Yeah, no, he recorded over it. He's oh my God, he did like a little makeshift green screen and put himself next to Pam.
It's the first time Hughes died. Wow. See, one of my favorite things to do in one of these group viewings would be to play it at normal speed during the dialogue scenes. You know, the ones that had a story anyway.
Yeah.
And when it got time to do the dirty, you double time it. You play it at double speed, and you hum the Benny Hill theme over it.
I'm just going to say, did you do the Benny Hill?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's wonderful. And it's a good way to break any possible tension that could happen.
No, well, they don't do that here. They just have a dark room where they're screening a Pioneer porn for the frat party. Which you feel like that was the only one left at the porno film rental store? Which, by the way, how do you get a hold of one of these? What was the task you needed to do to get a hold of a film reel of pornography?
You had to mail order that, and it cost like $80.
And do you think, like, maybe they got the wrong one? Because they clearly didn't want the Pioneer one, right?
They're like, what the hell is this? You have died of dicks and titties. Huh. Well, I mean, it's the only one here.
So, yeah, they are screening it. And while they're screening it, Bobby, that voiceover comes back on.
Yes. And we get to know one of these guys a little bit here. It is Glenn Marshall stopped for a beer with his friends, and it changed his life.
Why does it change his life, Bobby?
Well, because he notices the girl in this Pioneer porn, the main girl, Greta.
Love at first boner, as I wrote.
Everything slows down, gets a little more grainy. And it's love at first sight. He's rhino hard for love, you guys. And we find out that, according to the narrator, Glenn had to find her.
That's not creepy at all.
It's okay, though.
The scene ends with him staring at the fucking projector that's no longer showing a movie, and the room is empty. He's sitting in it by himself as a white screen is just kind of flickering.
I like that all of his boys just saw him sitting there. We're like, yeah, we're going to go. He's getting real weird.
So he's determined to find the way. He already found her.
They yada yada this whole thing.
Because he finds her in a club. Now, okay, I have a lot of questions about this. So she is now out of the movies, and she's back to playing piano, but she plays piano in a one-piece bathing suit with a blazer on?
Yep.
You got to have your signature, right? I mean, look at all the stuff Elton John wore.
Gotta have a gimmick.
Looks more like a magician's assistant, and she is playing the piano, just kind of like ragtimey, right?
Yes.
And Glenn just sits in a booth.
Glenn sits at the bar, puts bread in her jar, and says, Greta, what are you doing here?
He just kind of stares at her, very, very creepy. Cut to, he's coming home to their apartment where she's playing the piano in a burlesque outfit now. So we have really just skipped over an entire second act of a movie.
We have had such a time jump that she's not even played by the same actress anymore.
And she also really sucks at piano.
Well, the first actress could play piano. This one is limited only to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Now, the thing is, as if recasting her wasn't confusing enough, that it's a different actress now. And, you know, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Glenn's first thing he says to her when he comes home is, where'd you get the piano? So I have no reason to think this is Greta.
The first thing he says to her is not, where did you get the piano? He goes, you got mail.
Oh, right, sorry.
He gives her some fucking mail.
He drops off the mail and then looks up and realizes, oh, that's where that sound was coming from. His professional pianist wife or girlfriend somehow acquired a piano.
Where'd she get it, Bobby?
Well, she says, it was a gift from a friend. You don't know him.
And she goes, yeah, I don't want to tell you either. But if I say I need something, I call him and he just sends it over.
And he's just like, oh, okay. So you want to go out to dinner? And she's like, why? There's plenty to eat right here.
Boom, chicka wow wow.
And she gestures.
And then she holds up a sign that says, my pussy.
Oh, shit. She should have hit the keys right then. Bow, 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 bow.
That's what made him attracted to her, was her other career. So, you know.
And then my notes go as follows. Kiss, bed, cut, carnival, hanging out.
Yeah, we're back at the same carnival that we were in the beginning of the movie, which, guys, kind of makes me think, actually, that the original movie had both those actresses.
Those were probably different characters. They had to be.
I think it had different characters, and I think that popcorn scene was just in the movie. Like, that George maybe got that other lady, and that's a whole nother movie.
Wait, do you really think it's a different actress?
No, it is. I looked it up.
Really? I thought they were the same.
Yeah, I read about this. This is a different actress.
No,
My mind is
I think
blown.
the popcorn girl has brown hair, and this girl
Yeah,
has
she's got a completely different hair color
Yeah.
at this point. This is the thing. It's a different actress, and she looks nothing like the first actress.
yeah.
I think they look the same. Am I face blind?
You might be.
Are you guys? I thought you guys aren't twins.
Okay, well, oh my
Well, we
God.
are, yes.
My mind is blown right now.
They're two. Look, because the original movie had both those characters. Like Bobby said, they were different characters. And they've just edited into one, and they're like, people are dumb. She plays the
I'm
piano.
dumb.
It's the same broad. It's the same
I thought it
broad.
was the same.
Consider
broad.
one Michael Tanner, who stepped on a train, perhaps for the last time.
Wait, so I got boners for two different women?
Oh
You
my
did.
God.
You did, Tanner. You got double boners.
Double boned.
It's 2 for 1 night here on the Grindbin.
That don't worry, guys, because say you're watching this movie as a running commentary, the carnival scene's still not done during this rambling of Tanner
We're
trying
still
to
just
find
sort
out.
of fucking. It's like 16. We're just walking around. We're eating a corn dog. We're gonna throw a ball at something.
We watch every ride. Every ride in the fucking carnival. It's like, here we got the tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, we got the guy from the Manhandlers chasing that one girl.
Yeah.
He's on the tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, Carlo's waiting in line for the fucking... He's waiting in line for the Ferris wheel. He's all pissed.
It's all coming together. This is the crossroads. The Bone Thugs are here.
But they're playing carnival games. They're watching every goddamn ride. He's too cheap to buy tickets for the ride, so they just watch them. And then we see
narrator.
George. Yeah, George is here.
'Cause
So the old
George
man.
is watching.
Yeah.
And the narrator explains to us George couldn't forgive Greta, and he hated Glenn. And George Youngermeyer was going to have his revenge his own way.
Now, guys, listeners, we should say,
Oh, man.
if this movie wasn't weird enough, it is about to take a turn that you would never see coming.
Yeah. Were you having a hard time with the carnival? Then fuck the carnival. Never mind.
Forget the carnival.
It's the set from Spookies now.
Yeah. We're at the old mansion in the graveyard.
Yeah, Billy.
A
It's
big
his Billy's
castle.
birthday. You know, he's gonna walk inside. But on the other set,
Yeah. Catman's creeping around.
yeah, but on the other side of this graveyard, there's a meeting. Okay, and
Because
it's
as the narrator explains to us, we go now to the Death Club.
okay, and he says
Huh?
it's an evil society run by George and his partner. As I wrote it down, the Countess.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
Okay, so now we
The
are
Baroness.
we are inside the club, and let me just explain the members of this club.
Please do.
Okay. So one guy is Jimi Hendrix. He's dressed. Yep. Jimi Hendrix is part of the Death Club. This man is dressed exactly like Jimi Hendrix. He's got the head. He's got everything, man. The other man is, I don't know. I just call him like Weasley, man. He is the creepiest fucking character. I didn't know how to explain him. Like, is he foreign or what is with this guy?
Yeah, he's like Siberian.
He's trying real hard to pull off an accent.
I don't know what he is, but I just call him Weasley, man. So I call him Weasley. George, the Countess, and then new Greta,
The new Greta.
and Glenn. And they're all sitting around this table, and the Countess goes, "So, Glenn, do you know what the Death Club is? Anybody explained it to you?" And he goes, "Well, no." And she goes, "Well, everybody in this club has been close to death. Have you ever experienced this?" And he goes, "Well, I almost drowned as a child." And then George goes, "Kids don't count."
Thanks, George.
And I go, "Okay, hold on, pause the movie. Why did George invite them there, and why did they agree?"
That's the big thing, too. It's like, okay, we've established that George is at least old Greta's ex.
Yeah. So
new Greta doesn't know this guy, so I understand that.
okay.
But let's just, assuming they are the same character, her ex-boyfriend, who she left for Glenn, who's not happy about the fact that she's not with him anymore, says, "Why don't the two of you come to my death club?" And they went, "Dope."
It must be.
Your angry ex-boyfriend was like, "Come to my murder party," and they're like, "Yeah, sounds good."
I like parties.
When they cut back later to when George is hanging out with Greta, is that old Greta? Oh,
I think so.
Hold on a second. So do you think George is just kind of old and his mind is slipping and he thinks this lady's also Greta?
You know what I'm thinking?
They're all
In
Greta's.
this,
They're all
do you think in
dirty
the
Gretas.
original cut, George is not new Greta's ex at all?
No.
Yeah, and that old Greta was basically just sort of a fodder character we used to establish how the Death Club works.
Yeah. It's 100% what it is.
And the only way Glenn and New Greta even know George is he's just the weird dude who offered them an exciting weekend at this death party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely what it is. Because he sees them at the carnival, and then there's probably a whole scene of him inviting them to go to this death club. He's like, you want to see something really exciting?
Because honestly, plot-wise, there's not a hell of a lot of reason to make him her ex-boyfriend.
No.
Other than to get the porn stuff in the beginning.
So you think, what was his opening line? Like, they're staring at the tilt-a-whirl, and he goes, you think that's scary? How about joining a death club?
That actually seems kind of like a legit way they do it.
Maybe they get out of the haunted house. That's where he propositions them. He waits for him to go through the House of Horrors.
You want to see something really scary?
Yeah, there we go.
Try the stop-motion bug.
That's the one. Or, you know...
Okay, yeah, okay, so here's this. Let's get back to it. So he goes, no, I haven't experienced any death other than when I was a kid. And they go, well, we're going to fix that right now.
And in comes the servant.
Yeah, and he hands Jimi Hendrix a bottle.
But for a moment, though, I just want to take a moment to appreciate this butler because he looks like one of the ghouls from Carnival of Souls. He's got this caked on makeup. Like a zombie from the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yes, he's got the blue makeup and everything. Well, you know, he's in the death club, man. He's seen some shit.
Like, I thought the Catman from Spookies walked in.
It might be, man. He's pulling double duty that night.
Too. He's got the hook hand.
Well, you do remember Catman does kind of disappear at some point in that movie.
You think when he disappeared in Spookies, it was to come over to this movie?
Yeah, he's got to go to his day job.
I knew it.
So, Tanner, the butler, the Catman butler hands Jimi Hendrix a bottle. And what's inside that bottle, Tanner?
A gigantic claymation Bill Plimpton designed bug that is a poisonous insect.
Tanzanian beetle.
Yeah. Does not look at all like a beetle, just so you know, guys.
It's a Sumatran rat monkey.
The most insane twist of this movie where they go, okay, so in this bottle is this crazy ass fly, and we're gonna let it out.
That would have been such a better explanation. This is crazy ass fly, guys.
About a Tanzanian beetle, just like this fly is fucked up.
Yeah, and Jimi Hendrix is fucking playing the Star Spangled Banner the whole time while Weasley is explaining this, as he goes, this fly is going to go around the room, and he's might sting you.
And the Weasley guy has sort of a running thing with each of these moments where he goes, eat like Russian roulette.
But with the Muppet.
Eat like Muppet roulette.
Yeah, we'll get into his everything's like Russian roulette. I'm like, I don't think he knows the game. I think he's just saying that because he heard it.
So yeah, the plan is we're going to let this thing out of the jar.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to kill one of us.
But we've left the window open, so it might not. And then I think it's Greta who goes, wait, hold on a second. So if it flies out of the window, then what? It's just going to kill some random person? They're like, yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah. No, I got to ask you guys.
Meanwhile, Green Jelly is singing about the three little pigs.
Now, have either of you seen the movie Intacto?
No.
Okay. There is a scene. Intacto is essentially this half of the Greta movie plot. It's about a guy who is lucky, and he falls in with this group that just does these weird luck tests. With one that's exactly like this, where it's people bet on if like a bug is going to land on someone. I think it's a Spanish movie. It's actually pretty good. Max von Sydow is in it, but from this point on, it's very much like Intacto.
Interesting. So the bug movie,
Lucky Bugs, is the working title.
This bug flies around the room, and we see bug POV, which I love. That's the way to get around. Not being able to do animation in front of people, or at least having it look semi-good. But it lands on Weasley's shoulder, and Greta looks really excited, but then it doesn't sting him.
Everybody holds their breath, but yeah, he flies off.
And then, Bobby, it flies onto near a fake-ass hand.
It flies onto, well, it's supposed to be George's hand, but it flies onto Wallace's hand while he's eating some cheese. And he's like, the bug's on me, Gromit.
This hand is so bad. I was like, they couldn't use it. Because I thought, I was like, oh, well, it's going to sting that hand because it's so fake. It doesn't. Which makes it even worse. Is like, then why use the hand at all?
Yeah, I thought this thing was going to, like, eat his hand.
No.
It's easier to do a full claymation than to incorporate live action.
But Tanner, please tell us, where does the fly go?
It flies out the window, goes on a journey where we speeding past a day for night shot, and finds two young people just enjoying each other's bodily pleasures.
Now, these people didn't make it to the Spookies party, right? They fucked
They
in
got
the
lost
graveyard.
out in the woods.
Yeah.
This is where Billy was hanging out, eating his snowballs.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what he was watching.
Well, happy birthday, Billy, while he watches these two little creep ass.
Tanner, what are these people doing in the graveyard woods?
Well, they're fucking guys. They're going to town on each other. And the bug apparently is a prude and singles out, after we get a boob shot, I believe, it singles out the dude, pokes him or stings him right in the face, and we get an effect shot of a exploding pimple that shoots blood all over the woman. It's great.
Oh, I thought it was his eye that exploded.
Oh, was it his eye? It looked like it stung him in the cheek.
It stung him in the cheek, and it made his eye explode.
That's not how that works.
Sure. Well, to be fair though, Tanner, you've never dealt with a Tanzanian beetle.
That's true. Probably injected him with some hypnosis.
That's how you control him.
After we've seen a scene where a claymation bug lands on a guy and blows up his face mid-coitus, cut to this is fucking insane.
Rangers.
We cut to, okay, it starts out with George pouring Glenn a drink. So apparently the idea is like George is going to bring Glenn into the death cult, and eventually he might die. He might not. His
grand plan is to maybe get him
He's
killed?
not rigging the games, which would make sense. He's just like, well, no, you got a final destination. Death's got to choose,
Well, because if you think about this, it's a win-win for George, who is inconsolable about losing both Gretas.
Yeah.
He's had his heart broken twice now. And so think about this. Whatever goes down, either he gets to watch each of them die, or at least, 2 out of 3, and that ain't bad. Or he gets to die in front of them.
Yeah.
Either way, he's won this in his mind.
So this next scene is he's pouring Glenn a drink. Then he says, "Come with me," and he kind of forces him downstairs to, Bobby, take it away.
Well, like I implied earlier, we meet Zordon because everyone has been strapped to electric chairs. We got the classic. We have the headgear on and we're strapped down. And this robot is explaining to us.
A robot in this movie.
That, the lights all represent what's going to happen here. Yellow, it just means we're booting up. Blue, what did blue mean, guys?
Okay, I have a few questions, though. Who programmed this robot?
The Killbot 9000.
Where do you buy this?
You get a kit, mail order.
What is this? Is it, look, I've heard of...
It's definitely mail away.
Is this, I never knew anybody with it. Is this Electric Battleship?
I think that's how this works.
Because, you'd always hear at the end of the commercial go, now electric version, which I'm like, I didn't know one...
Nuke 'em.
Yeah, I didn't know one kid who had Electric Battleship. I just assumed this might be it.
That's what it was. Blue gives you just a little jolt, but red is going to kill you. And in case it wasn't clear, the Siberian guy goes, "It's like Russian roulette."
And I go, "No, it is not." Because, well, he goes, "We have empty chair. It like Russian roulette." And it goes, some guy looks at him and goes, "Yakov, there's one bullet in Russian roulette. There's not 5 with one empty chamber, dude. That's not how it works."
Man, wait till they get to the next room with Siberian hot tub. So who gets picked, man? Who gets the red?
Wait, can we... what is up with Greta in this scene? Why is Greta
has no hair?
is wearing a suit and has short hair now? And
is this a third
acting
Greta?
like a ventriloquist dummy? I don't.
She looks
really
like Lori
understand what's happening
Petty
here.
in this scene. It's very confusing. And you're right, Tanner, she's wearing a suit. She's acting way different than any other scene in the movie. We might be dealing with a third Greta at this point.
There's a lot of shimps in this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's acting totally different because she's like, she's all excited about it and everything.
Glenn should have turned and been like, "Who's this?" And everything freezes. He doesn't even care that he's being zapped.
But guys, well, it's Jimmy's turn on stage.
Oh,
The
man.
wind cried Mary.
It did. It did.
This is
He could
such
stand up next to a mountain and chop it down with the edge of his hand, but can he withstand the voltage of the power of Zordon?
well, the dummy can't.
Oh man, so yeah, it goes red, and the Russian roulette lands on Jimi Hendrix, and his puppet starts to shake, and we got a little bit of smoke come out, and he delivers the best line in this, where he says, while he's dying, he yells to them, "Excuse me while I kiss this." No, he says, "Excuse me while I smoke."
Oh boy. Yeah. I do have to say that prosthetic head with the teeth it's really effective. I enjoyed that
It's
that
like-
effects work.
It's kind of like that dude in The Stuff who starts to go off like he's in the thing.
Yep.
It kind of looks like you had that like sparking Godzilla toy as a kid, like how it just shoots the sparks out of its mouth and its eyes kind of light up too.
Like for a moment, he turns into that dummy from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Well, Jimi Hendrix, like you say, Bobby, he has kissed the sky.
Yes.
He has been electrocuted to death, and he is just like kind of like a husk of a man at this point.
He's just sort of this melted goop because the plastic of the dummy has melted.
Yeah, and Weasley the Russian is just laughing hysterically. And we should also say that for some reason, he always holds a gun at Glenn during every one of these.
Yeah, this is the part where I tried to piece this together in my mind, that he does this to make sure there's no funny business of Glenn trying to get out of any of these situations.
He's strapped to an electric chair.
Just in case. Oh, you know what
It's
it is,
like
you
Russian
guys?
roulette. You
Exactly.
always have a gun pointed at
He's
the
been
one who might
staring
escape.
down at the gun this whole time going, "It's like Russian roulette."
At what point did you think George was just going to grab the gun and just shoot him?
I was hoping.
Oh, fuck it. If he's never going to lose, what are we going to do?
And he grabbed the gun from him, he'd pull the trigger, and it would click. And the Russian guy would be like, "I told you."
And so then we have voiceover as Greta and George are hanging out in his house. So this is old Greta, I believe. And it says, "The plot against Glenn failed, but the electrocution death was the turning point for Greta." And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Not in the scene, it
Didn't
wasn't.
seem that way, but they were in love.
No, she's laughing maniacally while Jimi Hendrix fries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is
no-
interesting, though. The narrator explains that they are in love and they are to be married the next day. And this is another situation, we've experienced this before, where the voiceover is going over the conversation, assumedly because the scene was that bad. Or in this case, probably didn't fit the narrative they were trying to do.
It was nothing to do with what was actually going on in that scene. Because cut to Glenn and Greta having sex in their bed, and then all of a sudden, like, the fucking cast from the Warriors breaks in.
Goons break in. It's like when the boat got sieged in Raw Force.
Like, one of these guys is like a baseball fury.
And we learned that Glenn knows kung fu, and he's pretty
He
good
knows
at it.
fucking kill or be killed white guy karate.
He gets into a stance.
It's like he thinks he's Steve Chase all of a second.
But how do they capture him, Tanner? How do they capture Glenn?
You know, it's a pretty daring plan to use a play out of the Apes playbook. They throw a net over the human, just like those damn gorillas.
Unhand me, you apes.
I am a sucker for a big net in a movie. I used to hate it, but I'm on board now. I think it's one of the best plot devices there is. When you can't get out of a scene, when you can't figure out how a guy gets kidnapped, throw a net on him. It always works. It always works. And this one's not even a weighted net. It's just like they got a soccer net from the local park and they just threw it over him. And he just is like, So they bring Glenn and Greta into a room with George, and he goes, "Hey guys, it's time for the next Death Club meeting." And at this point, it's like, God, they've never had a problem going to the Death Club meetings. Why are we needing to kidnap them at this point?
There must have been a scene in the original where they decided they didn't want to do this anymore, because it was a turning point for Greta. And so they were like, "No more Death Club. We're going to get married." And they're like, "Oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, send in the baseball furies.
Send in the clowns."
Yeah. And so, Tanner, please explain to us the last death game. This is
a pretty great one. So it's a wrecking ball. So they're in the club where Glenn first saw Greta play the piano. Repurpose set. It's a wrecking ball on a rope,
I think this is just what it is after the club closes at night.
It's a nightclub, and then it's a death club. So the wrecking ball...
like, you know, like some clubs have a
After
disco
hours.
ball on the roof, Tanner.
Ooh, yeah.
This club has a wrecking ball on the roof.
But this is kind of like a lock-in party, because everyone gets a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And they're put into a circle, like the spokes of a wheel. And the wrecking ball is going to be spun around ever so slowly. So it's traveling over the heads of all the people in the death club.
Are we
that's
sure
pretty
there's
great.
not 2,000 maniacs involved in this?
Oh, yeah, there were a bunch of hicks in the background.
Yeehaw! And there's the rope for the wrecking ball right close to a saw blade. So as the wrecking ball spins around, the rope is going to get cut ever so slightly. So who knows when the rope will break, sending the wrecking ball crashing down on the heads of one of the poor unsuspecting... Well, I guess they suspect it. They're right there.
It could be the head. It could be the crotch. It could
We
be
don't know where
anywhere.
it's
It
gonna
could be
land.
the floor. Yeah.
Round and round it goes. Where it falls, nobody knows.
And George explains to Greta, he says, "Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always love you."
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Siberian friend has a gun pointed at Glenn, even though they appear to be wrapped up, tied up inside sleeping bags.
Yeah. Also, the sleeping bags aren't necessary. I mean, nobody's ever going anywhere except for the two that don't want to be there. But again, yes, they have a gun on them. It's like Russian. Yes, we know, Yakov. Is there an empty sleeping bag
Do you
or
think the
something?
sleeping bags are just for ease of cleanup?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's like Miley Cyrus video.
I think it was like the club required it. They're like, look, if you're going to have your little death thing, you need to use a sleeping bag this time, because last time it was real hell getting that blood and brains out of the floor, okay? And so they agreed. So now the ball starts swinging. It's grazing the blade. Weasley has the gun on Glenn. He can't escape anyway because he's tied up. Not only is he in the sleeping bag, he is tied up. The ball falls and just kills the Countess.
Yep, just splatters her.
And then we just cut back to God and Satan, and the story's over with no fucking
There's no
resolution.
resolution.
What was the point of all that?
None.
But I think even the devil's a little frustrated about this one because they have a bit of a falling out here.
Well, God says to the conductor, he goes, well, can you finish the story? I guess we don't get to see it. And he goes, yeah, Greta and Glenn ran off and they lived happily ever after.
Everything was fine. It was just fine.
And I go, wait, who are we judging then? Greta didn't do anything wrong at all.
Are we judging George for having all these people killed?
Like, what?
Then why wasn't this the story of George Youngmeyer?
But George didn't even die. Did he just give up on pursuing Glenn?
This saga should have been called The Story of Jimi Hendrix.
So the story ends with nothing. They just cut to God and Satan. George did not die. Glenn, Greta, none of them died. You could have faked it and had like it look like the wrecking ball landed on like maybe Greta or Glenn. No. We just assume they ran off to be happily ever after, and apparently George just never pursued them.
Yeah, he went. He had a moment of, God, this is silly, isn't it? What have I been doing?
I've only got one friend left, and I don't even like that guy.
What's wrong with me?
Do you think the death cult disbanded at this point, and then he was like, he had a hell of a time trying to get a new one together?
Well, he was so busy dedicating the rest of his time to trying to catch that stupid fly.
So now we've had 2 stories in a row where the characters have not died. There is no resolution whatsoever, really. And we are judging people who have not died.
Yeah. How like
Okay.
life.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because, I mean, who are we to judge people who aren't dead?
Well, Satan does, because he says, I want her, God. And then God goes, you can't have her. And I go, because she's not dead.
She's not on this trade.
And she also didn't really do anything. And then God and Satan just do more fuck it, rock music. Rock music.
Well, yeah, this is interesting because the devil starts acting a motherfucking fool. And he's yelling, the earth is mine, can't you see that? And my power is growing, soon you'll be making deals with me. And then God has to give him dad voice. He's like, hey, I cast you down out of pity. Do not push me or I will open the gates of hell. And then they show us an example because here comes the band. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me. But man, they've been going on and singing and dancing so long, they're building up a bit of a hunger because one of the band members says to the conductor, he's like, or the porter rather, he goes, hey man, I'm starving. How about some hamburgers and beer?
Well, they don't serve food on this train, Bobby.
Say, what kind of train is this?
Well, some call it the Heavenly Express. Others call it Satan's Cannonball.
And the music stops. Everyone's like, oh, shit. And then from the top.
Well, but we guarantee to deliver every passenger to his right destination.
Oh, that's right. And that's what everybody trusts.
Then we get, as you said, Tanner, the writer's son, a nice, like, slow motion break dance of him, because it probably looked like shit in regular speed. So we gotta slow that down, baby. That goes on for minutes. And by the way, he's by himself, so it looks like they almost filmed that on a whole different day, whole different set and everything. Then we cut back to God and Satan, and we're at the story of Claire, the last story, and God mentions how Claire loves him, and Satan says, of course, she's rich, has a husband who adores her, but I will show you what she is really like, God.
Oh my God. And so we set this up.
Claire is a devout Christian and a successful surgeon.
And she's married to a Nobel Prize winner.
Which is weird when we find out what he does. But she's about to begin living a living nightmare.
Holy shit.
Cut to, well, she has a nightmare. Cut to Nazis having dinner.
Oh my God.
It's a Nazi dinner party.
This is... Okay. I assume we're in a concentration camp,
in accordance
right?
with the Godwin's menu.
We're in a concentration camp, right? Because they have the prisoners playing. They've like forced them to play in an orchestra.
We're at a concentration restaurant.
Concentration chilies.
Yeah. So we've been playing. They're playing violins, and then some SS guy comes in and goes, "I have a message from Hitler. You haven't met your quota in the last 3 weeks."
And then he guns, and so he guns everybody down.
This is like the end of Inglourious Basterds style.
Yeah.
Is he just fucking opens fire.
All the extras are hitting the dirt. This guy's laughing.
And he just kind of kills everybody in his...
He says, the quota's been met.
Claire wakes up to her nightmare, which is apparently she often has nightmares of Nazi dinners.
And so she wakes up suddenly from this horrible dream. She rolls over to see Richard Mole. The dream isn't over. It's like the end of... was it Prince of Darkness that has that ending that people like to use as a gif? Like, roll it over in bed.
But fuck that. Cut to an old man watching some TV interview.
Yeah, this is Mr. Booth from Swap Meet.
So Mr. Booth is just watching some TV interview with some kid. He's watching this TV interview, and then he gets really upset, and he runs out of his room. And we should say he has like a goddamn conspiracy theorist room with fucking
He's got
pictures
the
on the
red,
wall.
the red yarn and the photos. So yeah, he recognized this young guy that he saw on the news. He's like, it's him! It's that son of a bitch! And he runs across the hall, starts pounding on the door.
Oh, and we'll get to it, but I can't wait to talk about where he saw that guy on TV, because I hope you guys notice that. It makes no sense.
I believe he was the third square on the top from Hollywood Squares.
Pretty much when you learn where he was.
It was
but
a
Bobby,
live interview at an opera performance, which didn't.
It was
really
a ballet.
Make sense.
Yes.
It was a ballet.
We'll learn that in a second. We will learn that in a second. But Tanner, he knocks on the door, and
Grindbin
Ladies and gentlemen.
All-Star, fresh from the plastic surgeon.
Literally walking into this movie just around the corner.
His skin pulled tight, trying to wipe away the age. John Cameron Mitchell. Or Cameron Mitchell? Did I fuck up his name?
Cameron Mitchell.
Cameron
You did.
Mitchell. John
You
Cameron Mitchell
named
is
his son.
Hedwig from Hedwig and the Ranch.
When Cameron Mitchell appeared in this movie, I stood up and I clapped.
Yeah, we saluted. We saluted the Grindbin All-Star of Grindbin All-Stars. He's in goddamn everything. I thought I'd fallen asleep.
Thank you, Robbie. You know us. You know us well.
It's amazing. He comes in like he's Troy McClure. Hi, I'm Cameron Mitchell.
Cameron Mitchell seems so goddamn confused because he's like, what now?
Oh, he definitely acts like he just got here to this movie.
Because Mr. Booth goes, it's him, it's a Nazi man on TV, it's him, he shot my whole family and killed my whole family. And Cameron Mitchell goes like, I am a police detective. What?
And he explains to him specifically, he's like, I'm only the police in the 5th precinct, not the whole fucking world.
Yeah, and he's like, no, but I this man's a Nazi, he murdered people, can't you just arrest him? He goes, yeah, I don't, what? I don't have jurisdiction over Germany.
And then he suddenly, Old Man Weiss, gets the demon cop voice. And does the, but he's who I look for.
And he's like, okay, old man, I'll entertain you. where do you want to go? And he's like,
Yeah, he goes, let's go get the son of a bitch. And they hop in the car. And while they're driving, he goes, look, understand, man, I can't arrest him. This was years ago in Germany.
yeah, but we'll take a look for you because, you seem like a nice old man who lives across the way from me. And
It's just his neighbor across the hall.
at one point, Cameron Mitchell borrowed something from him and never returned it. So this is he feels kind of obligated at this point.
Yeah, I think that's how Chewbacca got indebted to Han Solo.
We are in an opera. Or a ballet, as
It's a
Bobby
ballet.
says. So we learn that, okay, so Cameron Mitchell and Mr. Booth from Swap Meet are standing in the lobby of a ballet where this Nazi is walking outside of it. And to my guess is that they interviewed him in the middle of a ballet?
Maybe an
It was
intermission.
he got up to use the restroom.
Now, is he famous or something? Why did they interview this Nazi in the middle of a ballet? Look, if you're a Highlander, you gotta lay low. You can't be on the
Right.
news.
You gotta be hanging out in the parking garage in your mom's shoes.
Basically, they look at him, and Cameron Mitchell goes, yeah, well, I can't arrest him. Also, he's a little young to be a Nazi. So they go back to Mr. Booth's apartment, and Cameron's like, look, man, he can't be the same guy. He goes, this paper article you're showing me with this picture says 1944.
And he's like, look, yeah, it's not possible for a man to have not aged since 1944. And then Vice yells, I want him punished. And now Cameron's pissed. He's like, God damn it, it can't be him. Anyway, you take it easy, man.
Have a good night.
And he just sort of breaks character and walks off the set.
And then Mr. Booth goes all Death Wish because he grabs a gun.
Oh, not just a gun. He grabs an old Luger. He's got Han Solo's gun.
Yeah, also, are we really going to use that? If you were in a concentration camp, you're going to use a Nazi gun?
It's symbolic,
The irony, Mike. The irony.
It's an odd choice, but yeah, I could see it. So he sneaks through this house until he goes through a curtain. Oh my God, there's a monster.
There's a fucking demon.
Sneaks into.
Who gives him a fucking
We've
Hadouken.
got a point of view shot with the Luger. He goes through a purple curtain, and then a monster, great looking monster, and then another character gets shot through the back because it's clearly not Weiss.
Yeah. So basically, it's what the lady from Spookies turns into when she's playing that Ouija board. It looks exactly like the same monster. And then we just see a shot of the Nazi and he's smiling. Then we cut to an operation room. Claire is performing surgery, and then this voiceover comes over the loudspeaker and goes, we should say Claire is teaching a class and an observation deck on how to operate. And then they go, oh, hey, yeah, Claire, you need to check out a dead guy in the other room.
Which doesn't really seem pressing if she's in the middle of surgery.
Yes, she's in the middle of surgery.
She's not getting any deader.
And they go, yeah, you need to check out a dead guy. And she goes, oh, here, you can take over, and then just leaves. She goes into this other room, and she showed a body of this old man, of Weiss, Mr. Booth. And they go, he had a concentration camp tattoo. Also, he has a 666 tattoo, but that only occurred when he died.
He just got this.
And she's like, why are you showing this to me?
Why did I need to be pulled out of surgery to see this?
And the other guy's like, I am not sure.
We thought you liked tattoos.
Yeah. Then Cameron Mitchell's there, and he's asking the cops now. He goes, now, was the victim dead when you found him? And they go, well, he lived for only a few moments. Well, what did he say? He said, look at the wall. But the thing is, there were no walls. It was a parking lot.
Crazy old man.
And then Cameron Mitchell just goes, all right, and then they leave. But hold on. He was killed in the Nazi's house. So then what? The Nazi then drove him to a parking lot and dumped off the body?
Yep.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that too, with him and the demon just driving in a station wagon.
Yeah.
And sneaking a body out to a parking lot.
And so the next thing is I assume we cut to later because we just do a really bad reverse shot now of Cameron Mitchell, and he's standing in what I imagine is the same hospital room, but it's lit completely different now. And he just hears some whispers and screams and whips, and then he just wipes his face with a handkerchief, and I guess it was all a dream because now we're on a TV set.
Yep.
Yeah. And now we have Atheist Man.
Yeah, Richard Mole's back.
Yeah, he's back for the second time
playing
in this
a different
movie.
Character now. And
with a sweet-ass wig.
Yeah, and he says into the camera, I'm here to shatter a myth. And he explains that Jesus never existed. I'm like, okay, so they gave a edgy high schooler a book deal. It's like, did you know that story doesn't check out? And like, so he's playing Ricky Gervais. And he's like, I propose we build a culture on the premise that God is dead. And we just cut to books printing, man.
Yeah, God is dead. That's the name of the book.
So this whole book that's going to shatter everybody's mind is just him being like, there's no way this could have actually happened, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Like, if you think about it.
What if CAT spelled dog?
Yeah, because one of his facts is he's like, did you know that the name Christ was actually just used by hundreds of people in those times? And it's like, yeah, oh my God. How long is this going to go on?
You're too old to still be farting on about this, man.
Yeah, it's like this guy's in his 40s. Like, shut up.
Like, by the time you're in your 20s, you just kind of figure it out. You shut the hell up.
But it is a dope suit that he's wearing. I'm a big fan of his suit.
Well, he's making a little plush lifestyle for himself as the world's most famous atheist, though.
He's got a good,
he's
Tony Robbins vibe to him.
The Tony Robbins of atheism.
I did not even notice that his wife was Claire until like the next scene.
We saw her wake up next to him.
But if you blinked, you honestly could miss.
Well, because I assumed it wasn't
him.
the same character, but I'm like, oh, he can't be back in the same movie playing a different character. That's just preposterous.
Why would he be? I mean, it's not. This is one movie. Why would they use him in different?
Doesn't even make sense. It's like being in two James Bond movies and being different characters. Okay.
Yeah, it's just something you don't do. You don't cross the streams. So Claire is pleading with him. It's not too late to stop producing this stupid ass book. She's trying to save him from embarrassment, and she asks him, well, what if there, and if there is a God? And he goes, well, then I guess I go to hell.
Cut to atheist Tony Robbins' office, and we have this bald man that answers his phone. We never see his face, and he goes, Mr. Papini is here. And he goes, I don't know, Mr. Papini. And so then they just hang up, and then Mr. Papini shows up anyways in the office, and this like disheveled-looking man comes up, and atheist Tony Robbins is like, I think you should leave. And Papini goes, oh yeah? I know you don't believe in God, but check out my 666 tattoo.
Oh, shit. He pulls his shirt open like Superman.
For some reason, atheist Tony Robbins is intrigued and says, have a seat. And then he makes this guy sit down, and then he goes on another atheist spiel, and he's like, Satan's all a joke, man. Why don't you get up and leave? And Papini leaves. But atheist Tony Robbins is still a little intrigued by this. He's like, okay, this guy's a little weird, Seems odd.
But Papini is a pretty handsome guy. I'd be intrigued as well.
And you know what what else he likes to do, Tanner? This handsome homeless man?
Get tattoos.
Yeah. Well, he also likes to dig around in their trash can at night. Where he is being arrested by the cops for being outside of atheist Tony Robbins' home.
I forgot about that, but why did they establish why he's going through their garbage?
He just starts going on and on. He's like, somebody needs to tell him, somebody. And then they just pull his ass away. And then Claire wakes up to see what the fuck is going on. She looks out the window and, oh my God, it's a demon. So we get another demon. Then she just comes back to bed. He comforts her. Then we cut to, I don't know how to describe this, but it's like some sort of like Xanadu nightclub.
Yeah.
It's a very, very boring disco.
Boring? How dare you, Tanner? This place...
Well, it's too bright. Disco's got to be dark. And no one really looks like they're having a good time. It kind of
looks like the club from, like, Scarface or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a snake lady? Lady with a snake dancing?
Yeah, and the Nazi is here, and also Cameron Mitchell's here, just kind of watching the Nazi.
That's why it's not a cool disco. It's because a 60-year-old cop hangs out there.
Yeah, and he sticks out, by the way. He sticks out like fucking Christopher Lee in Howling 2 when he's at the rock club. But the Nazi
If only he had Christopher Lee's outfit.
Oh, he should have had those Geordie LaForge glasses. Would have been perfect. And so the Nazi is like eyeing a server, and he like gets her to come over, and she's next to him, and Cameron's just watching this all creepy. Cut to the Nazi's house. He has the server back at home in his bed. There's classical music, and Bobby, he takes his boot off.
Yeah, he seductively starts undoing his shoe and he slides it off to reveal a hoof.
So, as if this movie couldn't get any weirder, not only is this man a Nazi who hasn't aged in 35 days, he's like part...
He's also a satyr?
Yep.
He lives deliciously.
What the fuck is going on?
Is it pronounced satyr?
I have no idea.
I say satyr.
So you're telling me he's
a
Black
satyr.
Phillip?
He is.
So she screams, obviously, because she's just seen a fucking hoof.
But then we just cut to them dropping her off out of the limo onto the street. Him and the demon, once again, dropping a body.
Do we need to get that extra character of her boyfriend, don't we? We have fucking exposition for two characters we'll never see again. He's just like, oh, I hope she'll come back. She's like, I think she'll be back. She's back because she's just fucking dropped off, right? Never see them again. Then Cameron just shows up to the Nazi's house, barges in, and he goes, yeah, you ever meet an old man named Weiss?
And the guy's like, no. And he goes, look, man, I got lots of time, and I'm going to spend it checking on you.
And he's like, okay, bye, Cameron Mitchell.
I should really lock my front door because lots of people can just walk in, walk out.
So then the boyfriend of the server, oh no, he's there. Guys, he's back. Because you know what? He's at the Nazi's house, right? And he's also brought a gun.
Yeah, by the way, did you catch this guy's name?
No.
His name's Jim Boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Jim Boy?
Jim Boy.
So Jim Boy walks through the blue curtain.
Good night, Jim Boy.
And guys, he has now entered the world from House 2.
He's now in an episode of Davey and Goliath.
I had Celebrity Deathmatch.
Okay. So it's all of those. Because
he's hanging out with Gumby and Pokey.
And he's crushed by some Gumby villain.
Gumby steps on him.
It is
like it really suddenly turns into an episode of Gumby, and then something stomps on him.
Because Jim Boy does turn into a piece of clay himself.
Yeah, he reacts like he has been turned into this.
It is some of the worst effects I've ever seen. Ever.
It's amazing.
Like, people will say, like, Jason of the Argonauts looks bad. I go, no, look at Night Train to Terror.
And again, green jelly starts playing.
So now we go, Claire, she's reading a letter. She's reading a demon cop letter about how Satan has come for her. She's reading it in VO, just like in Demon Cop. And then she hears weird noises upstairs in her home. And I didn't know that she fucking lived in the poltergeist house. Because she fucking she fucking goes upstairs and like they think she's Carol Ann or some shit. It's just like these demons like plowing through a closet wall at her.
Yeah. And she's getting pulled horizontally.
Yeah, and they're trying to bring her to the Poltergeist 3 world, and she's like, fuck no, I've seen that movie. No thank you. And then Bobby, it just ends.
Yeah, never mind that.
It was all a dream.
She gets her change of clothes and she goes about her day.
Yeah.
It's like
I like
none
the
of
idea
that
that she grabs the clothes while she's in there. She's like, well, I certainly don't want to come back in.
Oh, I thought I donated this top. I need this.
The only evidence that anything weird like this happened is that she next goes to church and lights a shit ton of candles.
Yeah, she goes to church because they did say she's a good Catholic. She goes into confession. Now, guys, I was brought up as a young boy in the Catholic faith, and I didn't know that we had this in every church. But did you know that every church has this?
A secret passage? Yeah.
So just in case,
I assumed.
Because she goes to this priest and he goes, oh, yeah, man, these are all the telltale signs. You're supposed to go hunt down Satan.
Yeah, you've been chosen to combat him for Earth.
And she's like, what? And he goes, no, I'm pretty sure. And he goes, I've been waiting my whole life to do this. Every church has got one. And he like clicks a fucking garage door button or something. And the floor to the church opens up.
And this box pops up. And he explains that this box is made from the wood that was used to crucify Christ. This is from the cross.
Yeah. Which is weird that we saved
it's your
it.
duty. Yeah. Been hanging on to it in case this exact thing happened.
So now you can see.
It was just sitting in the garage for a few centuries, and we're like, what should we do with this wood? Let's turn it into a jewelry box.
Oh, perfect.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
What was in there was another cross, right? So they made a cross out of the cross? Oh, yes, that's right. It's just an empty box. So every Catholic church in America, I believe, has this empty Christ box.
Has one of these boxes
It
in
was
case
a
of a
big
demon.
ass cross, made lots of
And
boxes.
he explains to her, it's your duty to remove the heart of the devil's demon and secure it in this box. And if you can do it in 24 hours, you win a JVC Kaboom box. And the studio audience starts applauding.
And then we just cut from this just what the fuck to Cameron Mitchell's in Weiss's house, right? And he's just looking at Nazi pictures with this big magnifying glass. He looks confused as all hell. Then Papini's
Same.
back, right? And he just goes into a fucking lighthouse all of a sudden, and there's this lady waiting for him.
Of course, you had to know Papini was going for the lighthouse.
He walks into this lighthouse where this lady dressed in white is there, and he's like,
Who we have never seen before.
And Tanner, please tell me their conversation.
Or have we?
Oh, she might be one of his ladies at the club.
You saw
right?
her for
Like-
a split second. Just the briefest of
So,
seconds.
Pepino, is that his name? Pepino? Pepine?
Papini.
He's straight from the
Pepino,
Vatican,
It's
dude.
me, Mario. He tells him it's Pizza Go.
Geppetto.
And he's there to battle on behalf of Jesus, the forces of Satan. And he walks up the staircase of the lighthouse, Our Lady in White.
And he takes umbrage with her wearing white because she's a mistress of deception, so red is her color.
Yes, you should be dressed in red.
Don't you know color theory?
He demands in the name of God that she tells him her real name.
And she morphs Ishtar.
And I think she's the demon who killed Vice.
Yeah, she definitely is.
All right.
That's when
All those demons start to look the same.
he is somehow pulled out by a giant fan onto the beach where there is a claymation monster.
Yeah, the wind blows him down the stairs. Yeah, Clay Fighter 64 fires up.
And the guy comes through the ground, the clay monster comes through the ground, pulls him into the ground, and that's that. We had another claymation death.
Okay, so Spider Claymation Man pops out of the ground and he grabs Peppino and grabs him by each leg. And I was like, oh, we're gonna get like he's gonna tear him in half, like split him right there. But so he just like pulls him underground. It was such a
They probably thought they were going to do that, and they're like, man, this shit is hard. Just pull him back in.
Just we don't have any red Play-Doh, guys.
Damn it. Oh, well. So now we cut
No
to...
blood for this scene.
Now we just cut to Cameron Mitchell talking to Claire, and he goes, who would kill Papini? I go, wait, whoa. She barely even fucking knew Papini. In fact, she never
It's
really
her good
met
buddy
him.
Papini.
Because then we learn that she says, I dropped him off at the beach.
There's a whole scene where she drove him there.
What? I said, was Papini the priest? Or something? Like, what? What?
Nope.
Okay, so that's just completely lost. She says, I dropped him off at the beach, and Cameron Mitchell is so fucking confused. And she goes like, yeah, he was there, something about fighting Satan or something.
Well, yeah, no, she explains to Cameron Mitchell, she's like, she explains to him that he was a defrocked monk who was once encountered by the devil, and and Cameron Mitchell's like, he warned you against what? And she goes, Satan. He goes, who? And she goes, Satan. Pay attention.
And he's like, oh, god damn. She goes, fine, I'm just going to leave. And as she's about to leave, the Nazi shows up. Cameron Mitchell just asks the Nazi, he's like, do you know about that dead guy, Papini? And he's like, no. Then, for no reason at all, Cameron Mitchell has like a new partner.
Yeah, he suddenly gains a partner.
Slick in a green color scheme.
Yes, like the character of Slick, the Dixie Man, is back, and he's just like,
once again, God has sent his assistant.
and he just says to Cameron Mitchell, he's like, we can't hold him, Cameron. We gotta let him go. He didn't do nothing. And I'm like, so he's got a partner now? This is insane. Cameron Mitchell then brings this new guy, this old fucker, to this house, right? And he shows him all these pictures on the wall. He goes, see how that Nazi, he's this guy, and he's in all sorts of pictures, and he never ages. He's in every war you could ever take pictures of, and he's never aged. And then the old guy goes, you know what, Cameron? I'm on board. Let's go get him.
He's just tired at this point. He's like, fuck it. Let's go shake that son of a bitch.
Then the Nazi calls Richard Ball, and he says, I want you to get on a strange boat. Meet somebody.
Come to my island.
Yeah, meet me at this island. I want you to meet somebody at the pier. And for no reason at all, he just agrees to go.
Why not?
And that's when the demon lady takes him in a limo. Ishtar takes him in a limo to the island. He doesn't know where the fuck he is or who he's meeting, and she says this will be...
Yeah, he's just waiting at a table. Like, he's waiting for the waiter to bring the menus.
And when he says...
Now, here's where I get to use my knowledge of locations and geography. Where he gets on the boat is in San Diego. So I like to think that the Devil's Island is off the coast of Southern California.
So
I'm willing to believe that.
Either at Catalina or one of the Channel Islands.
Let's go with Catalina.
Apparently they're on Catalina, and he says, well, can you at least tell me who I'm meeting? And she says, it'll be the most important meeting of your life. And smartly, he brought a gun. So he knows, he's not playing Russian roulette. He's got a full chamber. So now Cameron is now all of a sudden at the Nazi house, right? And
right.
This is maybe my favorite death in Grindbin history. Is that this old fucker can't open a door.
Yeah, Cameron tells his partner, hey, you wait here. And he takes off.
Yeah.
And then the partner's waiting in the car, and in the distance, some guy won't stop shining a flashlight at him.
Yeah. And so the partner tries to get out of the door, and he's like, Cameron, how's it work?
Is this automatic? Do I pull up on
these new blasted cars? I don't know. These foreign cars.
And the inside of the car starts to fill with smoke. And Cameron eventually sees this.
It's very dramatic.
It really is. It's like a saw trap.
An old man's dying because he can't open a car door.
He's getting hotboxed.
Well, the best is that he tries to roll down the window, and clearly the actor did, because the window goes down a little bit, and he's like, "Oh shit!" and then pulls it back up. It's like, "Oh, I can't open it."
You mean the devil put it back up?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
the devil sometimes lets you think you're about to get away, but no.
He's a master of deception.
This is like watching an old person try to operate an iPhone or something. Like, he's just, how does it work? Is it
these buttons are too small?
It's just somebody shining a flashlight. He's smoking. Bobby Cameron notices.
He does, and he runs to assist him.
That's what we learned, by the way.
He's trying to open it from the outside.
That this guy had a name. Because Cameron goes, Pete!
And he's like, oh no, not Pete. But there is a moment where you're like, who the fuck's Pete?
Yeah. And Tanner, what happens with Pete in the car?
Well, Pete dies terribly from the noxious gas. And Cameron Mitchell starts to open the door just so slightly, and then immediately is killed by stock footage.
Yes. It is the worst stock footage of
shot
explosion.
Of something else exploding.
Like, this looks like the fucking opening scene from Apocalypse Now or some shit we cut to. Like,
it's like a napalm village.
Yes.
Yeah, they should have cut to that footage of the nuke testing where the building just goes poof.
Look, I half expected the Doors' This Is the End to start playing in this scene. Because it just looks like the opening of Apocalypse Now. We have cut to something completely different. Like, you can see fucking trees and shit. And now we just cut from that to now Richard Mole is meeting with the Nazi, and the Nazi says there's only one master, Satan. And Bobby, he's never grown up. So what does this atheist say?
Well, I don't have what he wrote down, Mike.
Well, he basically is just kind of like smarting him. He's like, yeah, well,
I don't believe in Satan
he
either.
starts pulling out some Wikipedia facts he looked up,
Did you know that Satan comes from the old Aramaic word for Satan, which meant table?
No, the Nazi goes, well, hey, guess what, Richard Mole? If you don't believe in Satan and recant by the time this handkerchief hits the floor, you're really going to regret it.
You're going to be sorry. And the devil starts drag racing. No, instead, suddenly we're playing Clay Fighter again because a clay monster grabs Clay Richard Mole and throws him on a clay cross.
That is the most Celebrity Deathmatch looking bit. You're right. Like when Mole falls down and hits the cross, I was like, yeah, that looks exactly like Celebrity Deathmatch.
And it cut to Clay Mills Lane went, I'll allow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he burns on that cross.
Uh-huh. and he burns to death. But then we cut to the set of Spookies, like the attic scene from Spookies.
Yep.
As a lady is praying over a coffin that just opens up.
It's the box. It's the cross box.
But it's huge now.
By the way, you can watch this movie on Crossbox. Just need to download the app.
Claire is now sneaking around the Nazi's house, and then when he comes outside, she decides to run him over in her car.
It's such a great plan.
It works, though. And she, she now
and
has
so she
him
grabs
in
him
an
while he's
operating
unconscious.
room.
Yeah, she took him to work and put him under.
Then
and she starts to.
Well, we can't skip over that now Claire has had her own special new assistant that has just appeared for this scene in the movie.
Well,
I got a theory. Okay, so when Satan's Nazi comes out of his house, he's with a woman who I think might be the same woman who's Claire's assistant in the operating room. So I think maybe in the full version of Cataclysm is that Claire kind of works with this woman to get the Satan's Nazi out of the house as like bait.
Okay. That would make sense.
That's my headcanon for how that worked. Because yes, otherwise this assistant appears out of nowhere.
And so they're doing a little operation, right? And she's opening his chest, but at one point the Nazi wakes up and then like flips out and shit's flying all over the room. Lights
the whole
are
place
flickering.
shakes. Some blood had hit the assistant, and she briefly flew into the rage virus from 28 days later.
Yeah.
And grabbed a pair of scissors and just started stabbing the Nazi guy.
And then Claire's like, no, we need to cut the heart out. We need to cut it out.
There's like wind and lightning, and the monster squad's trying to get the incantation right.
And, Tanner, you're right. Because at this point, you're like, why would the assistant be trying to kill him?
Why is the assistant like invested and freaking out?
So two ladies are trying to cut open a man's heart while he's still alive.
But, and they managed to. They, despite all the chaos. She gets the heart out, and she puts it in the box, and she closes the box, and she turns and looks, and now the Nazi guy has swapped positions with her assistant.
Yeah, and then we just hear screams off screen as the Nazi apparently kills Claire.
The Nazi walks out whistling a happy tune, wearing his sweet black suit, and the devil wins.
And then we just cut to Satan telling God, he's like, I won. Claire failed.
And then God goes, do you think so? Because she was faithful to me to the very end.
Then the conductor says, fuck it, guys, because it's dawn and it's time for the train to crash.
And here comes the band. And so we see the toy train again. Thomas the Tank Engine coming down the track.
Glorious toy train footage. And that's when God says, I'm tired of playing games. He says to Satan he's tired of playing games with him. And Satan says the musicians must be judged. And then God's all annoyed with him.
To mention real quick, the train does explode. And we see everyone's body strode about.
Yes, everybody is dead. Yeah.
The band has died.
Yeah. And God's really annoyed with Satan, and he says something about how he's going to curse Satan
to walk the earth. He tells him, I condemn you to walk the earth forever, and Satan responds, but then forever I will seek the company of men. And there is nothing wrong with that.
And you know what? Fuck it. Cut back to the music video. Dance with it, dance with it. As the train is now riding through fucking space.
Yeah. Now we're in Voyage of the Rock Aliens. The train just goes, and flies off into space.
And then the first credit is produced by, just really big. He was
the only person who would admit to it.
Very fucking proud of this. So, guys, recommendations?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
It is bonkers trash cinema.
Yeah.
And it is worth every second of watching it.
It's barely over 90 minutes. Absolutely.
This episode is very long, so why don't we get to our... I'm sure you heard that sound. How do you think Bobby DeVito would fit in the world of Night Train to Terror?
Well, I think, as we know George from our second story, we don't see him die. And I think that he has started the Fate Worse Than Death Club.
Oh, boy.
And I think I envision a room. And similar to the previous thing, we have sleeping bags. And we have women set up like the faces of a clock. In a circle. But it's not a wrecking ball on a rope. It's a certain orange-haired man. Just kind of suspending like Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible, swinging in a circle.
I love it, Bobby. But I think that maybe, because this was 3 movies cut into one movie, that they had a 4th movie that they were working with. And the fourth story that got cut out, you know, the Quad Ed Zone, as you know, had Black Devil Doll originally as part of that story, right? Well, part of this story was the fourth one, which was about judging this ginger-haired boy who drives around in a yellow van. And you remember at the end of the van, when Bobby flipped over and died, well, they actually had somebody die, and they judged whether Bobby was going to hell or not. And I think Satan wins. How about you, Tanner? You got one?
So mine is more conceptual. So Night Train to Terror 2. Similar premise, where it's an anthology movie, but instead of God and Satan, it's Bobby and DeVito arguing over the fate of the people in these films. And somehow Bobby, who's the God role, he always, every movie that has a female character, she makes it to his heaven, which is actually their hell.
You know, I'm glad they're judging them for heaven or hell, because Tanner, at first I thought you were going to say they were going to pick which women they were going to have for themselves.
Well, in a way, Bobby's is that.
Well, Tanner, where can everybody find you before we wrap this up?
Oh, you can find me, if this is going to be posted in the early part of July, maybe, I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. You can see me at my panel Unnecessary Debates Friday night at 8-something o'clock. Just Google Unnecessary Debates San Diego Comic-Con. You can see me. It's a very funny panel. You can also visit me on my website, buymichaeltanner.com.
Great, and you can find us at grindhousefilm.com or Twitter at grindpod. You can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. I guess I can't say iTunes anymore because they're getting rid of it, but you can find us on the Apple Podcast app.
You know what? Just Google us.
Yeah, it's fine. And
Just
rate and
Google
review
it.
5 stars if you like this. And as Bobby always says, tell a friend. Tell an enemy, tell a friend, tell anybody.
Especially tell an enemy.
Yeah, tell them to listen to the Grindbin. Yeah, if somebody you
Tell
really
a sea an
don't
enemy.
like, just say, yeah, you should listen to this show. You'll really love it.
No matter what they're into. When someone tries to get into a political conversation, you know what? I heard something interesting about that topic on the Grindbin. You should listen to it. Bobby, this is where we get off.
Come on, dance with me, dance with me. Dance with me, dance with me. Come on, baby. Dance with me, dance with me. Dance with me, dance with me. Everybody's got something to do. Everybody but you. Come on, dance with me, baby. Everybody but you. Everybody but you.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
What is it, knockers?
Spooky got no real rhythm.